All right, chat. So I guess we're streaming. Let me see if I'm actually streaming or if I'm fucking cooking shit up. See if I'm actually streaming or if I'm fucking cooking shit up. Okay. See if I'm actually streaming or if I'm fucking wait. Shit up. Okay. See if I'm actually streaming. Oh. Wait. Okay. It's because okay, okay, I'm gonna pause it. I'm gonna pause that shit. Okay. Yeah, so I'm streaming and how you guys doing today? You know what I'm saying? It's BPM. Yes, I'm streaming. I'm sorry. I'm just kind of cooked. But before we get into anything, right? Before we get into anything, I just want to tell you guys are peak. Hopefully I don't get fucking hold on, bro. What the fuck? Hopefully I don't, you know what I'm saying, get cooked, bro. Hold up. Bro, what the hell? Okay, wait. What if I do this? That doesn't do anything. Hold on, chat. Give me 1 second. I know this is scuffed. Give me 1 second. All right. I'm be reacting to this. You know, first, everybody like and subscribe to, what's his name? Skyrion. Whoever you are, bro. You're goated, bro. Look, that shit got 3.4 million views, bro. That's tough. That's peak. I'm be reacting to the entirety of this shit, bro. I know it's fucking 10:05, bro. I already watched a little bit of it. I'm just gonna skip to where I watched, you know what I'm saying, where I left off. I am gonna skip, I think, Doom 3 lore. Whenever it gets to Doom 3 lore, I'm probably just gonna skip. Yeah, so this like big portion I'm probably gonna skip. Just because, you know what I'm saying, I want to play it and tight shit. But yeah, today I'm be playing Craftmine. Here, let me just put this shit picture in picture. Why not? Fuck it. Picture in picture. What the fuck? Chat. What are you guys doing? What the fuck, dude? Hello? Oh my god, what the fuck? Sorry, bro. I'm scuffed as fuck right now. Wait, is this picture in picture? No, that's not. That's fucking display capture. What the fuck? Ooh. Wait.
It was still
Can you guys hear that?
That was until the first primeval, godlike being.
Okay, you guys can hear it. Okay. So yeah, go subscribe to him, bro. Don't subscribe to me. If you guys subscribe to me, I'm be angry, alright? Do not subscribe to me. Go subscribe to him. He deserves it, bro. Cause bro, 3 hours, bro. I can't even fucking hold on. Hello? Oh yeah, that's because it's paused. My stupid ass. 3 hours, bro. I don't think I can yap for 3 hours, bro. So yeah, shout out to you, bro. Shout out to you. Let me see. Hello. Okay. Let me just skip to the part where I left off. And I'm gonna go and I think it was, let me see. Rise of Argenta. What the fuck is that? Alright, we'll just start right here. Actually, you know what? God dang, bro. An ad, bro. I don't have YouTube Premium, bro. That's tough. God damn, bro. Well, you know what? Bro, fuck you. So yeah, today I'm playing Craftmine 2, bro. Like low-key Craftmine, bro. That's just kind of peak. Okay. I'm gonna put this shit in picture. Right? You guys can see that, right? Let me just move it to where I need to. It's probably gonna be cooked and everything for you guys, but let me see. I'm gonna do this. Hold up. I'm gonna do this. Yo, chat. Oh my god. I'm cooked. It says my current stream rate, bit rate is lower than the recommended bit rate. That's tough. What the fuck? So you're telling me this shit is like pixelated or some shit? Streaming. I'm put that shit at 5,000. 5,000. Hopefully that's, you know what I'm saying, decent. Oh, it says 6,800. I'm sorry, chat, bro. I'm taking my sweet ass time, aren't I? Ooh. All right, but I just got prepared. Like this is peak, bro. Like it's basically like I'm watching a fucking movie. Shout out to Sky Ronin. I'm gonna have his. You know what? I'm actually gonna do that right now. I'm gonna have his YouTube channel in my his video in my description. I meant. So yeah, if you guys want, like, you know what I'm saying, you're watching this in 2085. That's his video right there. I'm just gonna do this. How am I
gonna
gonna
do
link this? Bro, shut the hell up. How am I gonna freaking do this? You know what? No. Ooh, that's smart. That's smart. That's smart. So if you guys chat, you know, let me just restart my shits. Hold up, hold up, hold up. It's taking the sweet ass time. Give it a sec. Give it a sec, chat. There we go. What the hell? What the fuck? Bro, why you keep telling me that my fucking bitrate is cooked? Okay, I think everything's good. Let me just triple check, because it's always good to check chat. I feel like everything's good. Let me just check the game real quick. You know, I just found some diamonds type shit. I need to go mine that shit. Whoa. Let me see. Okay, that shit is too big for that shit. Wait. No, wait. That's that. Wait, I'm tripping. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger for you guys, the little thing, but... Oh, and I'm gonna move this down here. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger for you guys chat, so you guys are not looking at a fucking screen. Does that look good? I don't know. But all right, we're gonna start it. So yeah, make sure to like and subscribe to his channel. He deserves all the credit. You know what I'm saying? I'm just reading this because like it's like I was gonna watch this anyway, and I'm playing Minecraft. Like realistically, I'm supposed to be playing One Piece, right? I mean, I'm supposed to be watching One Piece right now, but hey, you gotta do your priorities. You know what I'm saying? Priorities type shit. I don't even know what that means. But yeah, let's start it. Hello? Why isn't that? Oh.
Continued his work, but he soon became frustrated with many of his divine errors. The new realms he had created had failed after their gods had not behaved.
I'm gonna turn it down a little bit.
For each failure, the life
for you guys
of these fallen gods were
Alright, now shut up.
a collection in the Tomb of Souls. The father wished for good, but he underestimated the power of Davoth. Although trapped in his own
Alright,
life
peek.
his mind wandered the
Alright.
realms and he whispered dark truths as he pushed them to commit awful acts. Some say that the failure of each of these fallen gods made Davoth stronger as he
Yeah,
absorbed
Davoth is the guy's name.
the
I did not know
father
that.
just had to work harder to make them incorruptible, yet more of his gods fell from grace. The father had lived through millions of years, the
Bro, what
birth
the fuck?
and death
Hold
of
up.
many Khans, and as a result of his constant failures, he believed it was time to retire. To achieve this, he turned to his most faithful
Why can't I see my shit?
Summer Maker, and he asked him to transform him into a life sphere. Sama would never refuse the orders of the father, so he took him to the Luminarium to perform the conversion. For the many years to come, the Maker traveled to the Luminarium to pray and offer their respects to the father. Although he had transformed into a new state, his power still allowed life to continue as normal in Urdok. The Singularity still used his power to occur every 10,000 years to create a new Khan, and the transfiguration process also allowed the Maker to be reborn. Life went on as normal. Between the heavenly realm of Urdok and the twisted realm of Hell existed the earthly realms, home to many universes, parallel universes, planets, and early life. One of these planets was Argent Dunur, and one day, a giant spear that had traveled through space for countless years hit the planet and became...
Hold on, chat. Hold on. My I can't see my fucking mouse, bro, so I might have to fucking like quit the game and start it up again, bro. I don't know why I can't see my mouse. That's kind of chopped. Let me see if this this works. All right. Please work. Please work. Please don't cook me. But yeah, right now I'm drinking some Celsius, bro. You motherfucker. Video settings. Hopefully you guys don't see anything fucking. You know what? Hold on. Because I don't want you guys to see anything that could fucking cook me. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. Give me 1 second, chat. Why can't I see my fucking mouse? Fancy. Should I just put it like that? You know what? Fuck it. I guess so. I didn't want to, bro, but I guess this is the only way that... Hold on, chat. What about that? Yo. Nah, this is chopped, bro. And if I do that, it's probably even make it worse, right? Nah. Wait, what? Oh, shit. What the hell? Bro, what the fuck? Why can't I see my mouse when I hit full screen? Chat settings, controls, keybinds. Dude, this shit is so ass, twin. What the fuck? That's tough, bro. That's tough. I don't know what to do. Hold on, let me look this up, bro. Wait, what? F11? That doesn't do shit. To cursor issue. Okay. Check game settings. And look for an option like hide cursor. If you are streaming, make sure your capture software is set to the game window instead of the entire screen. Oh. Alright, you know what? Fuck it, chat. I guess this is the only way. That's tragic. What the fuck? Okay, I can just do this. Alright. Let me see. It's probably going to look chopped right now. Hold up. It's loading. It's loading. Yeah, it looks chopped on your end. But what if I do this? Hold on. Let me see. Let me see if I can go like fucking... What about that? That's a fucking ass. What about this? Oh, this shit is trash. Oh, wait, what? That shit is ass again. What the fuck? Wait. Hold on, chat. I know I'm cooking y'all. I apologize. Okay. What the fuck, bro? I have to like do some weird shit. Let me see. Hold on. What about that? Is that good? Is that good? Wait. Wait. All right, fuck it. We're doing this. Fuck it. This is the scuff method, but it is what it is.
It was a simple
Alright.
meteor that had struck the planet by chance, but upon impact, a species launched into the skies in waves. As historians looked back, they believed that the elemental wraith species had lived within the core of Argent D'Honneur, and this spear had released them. However, inside of the spear, it was clear that the spear itself was in fact an extremely advanced spaceship, and the thousands of wraith inside were its passengers. From the later named Umbral Plains to the swamps of Ironfang. This was once a dead planet, but the elemental wraith brought with them power and magic. From the spear emitted the
There we go. Okay.
and as the wraith flew across the skies of their new home, This power burst out of them and revitalized the land. New plant life flourished, the air became breathable, and with it came new life. Having completed their task, the Wraith returned to the World Spear. The Ancestrals were enormous creatures, invigorated by the magic of the Wraith. As the first on this land,
The Wraith.
they were also extremely territorial, in which they came to blows with the other life that sprouted on Argent D'Honneur
Sorry, chat, for
years. Then came the Argenta, a humanoid species. As they evolved,
Yeah, the
they quickly
Argenta.
learned just how dangerous the Ancestrals were. To avoid them, they lived in tribes in the shadows. Over the years, they learned the secrets of the sword in their mountain forges, how to beat steel that could sever flesh, and then they discovered the elemental Wraith. The Wraith had watched from their spear as the Ancestrals had destroyed parts of the land they had given life to. The Argenta was smart, and
Bro, I'm be
they
honest, I don't know what the
believed
fuck
they
he's
would
saying.
Look after this world. To do this,
Oh, whoa,
they
those were the
blessed
Wraiths?
Argenta with their magic, and with it, the fiercest
That was a Wraith?
warriors of the Argenta waged war against the Ancestrals. They had their swords, shields, and most importantly, Wraith essence to enhance their power. This was not a fast war, but it was a successful one, and as it came to an end, the Argenta claimed dominion over Argent D'Honneur as the Ancestrals were pushed back into the bleak valleys.
Damn.
This was the time of man. The elemental Wraith had allowed the Argenta to claim Argent D'Honneur for themselves. In return, they offered their worship. The Argenta made use of the fertile land. They raised beasts of burden and constructed towering cities. This was the start of the Argentan civilization, and to guide them, they crowned their first king, King Omero.
Oh, yes. Okay, now this is W lore. This is actually W lore.
The Cathedral of Reflection.
Tell me.
was
Yeah,
built to
those are the
worship
Wraiths.
The first ones, and to guide their religion, the Order of Daig was established.
The
In
Order
this
of Daig.
3 priests were elected to pay tribute to the Wraith. The Argenta had transformed this hostile planet into a grand civilization. But even though they had been handed incredible tools of power by the Wraith they worshipped, they still suffered with other issues. Storms and earthquakes killed many and destroyed their constructions. There were also tribes and barbarians outside of the city and village walls that did not subscribe to the worship of the Wraith, and they took every opportunity they could to attack the vulnerable for food, gold, and possessions. The Wraith Call had invigorated the land, but the weakest of the population also grew mad to its power. The strongest of which, however, saw these as trials, and they rose above the fire, their bodies and souls tempered, and their unbreakable will was shaped in battle. These became the heart of Argent D'Honneur,
Is that the Night Sentinels?
strongest warriors, and with them formed the Order of the Night Sentinel.
W.
Skilled warriors that defended the population of Argent
Oh.
D'Honneur and served the elemental Wraith. In these times of desperate need, Sentinel shamans approached the World Spear on pilgrimages. Upon their arrival,
Yeah, the World
netherland
Spear.
that surrounded the spear, they were met
Yep.
with the gatekeepers, silent guardian spirits of elemental power that guarded the entrance to the spear. These gatekeepers judged the soul of the shaman. For those deemed worthy, they were offered a shard of the spear, a shard of immense power. But if they were deemed unworthy, they were swiftly cut down with divine strength. Interestingly enough, the Argenta chose not to jail their own kind. They
Hold on,
instead
chat.
forced them to participate in their arena.
Sorry, I'm just gonna check on my phone. I want to see if this shit is running good or it's running trash. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, chat. Give me 1 second. Alright, I'm gonna turn up the volume for the shits a little bit more higher. Hold on, give me 1 second. Hello? Hello? Alright.
To fight for their
All
honor.
right.
If they died,
But
they
it
died.
looks good though,
but
right?
if they succeeded, they were granted a place in the front lines of the Sentinel army to die in service of Argent d'Honneur. The Argenta had accepted the elemental
All right,
wraith
yeah.
wanted to keep
Okay,
their
peek.
distance.
Sorry about
and
that, chat.
not
Let's keep
interfere
going.
with mortal matters.
Let's proceed.
So they worked through the natural disasters that came their way, yet many still suffered. As King Ettrek sat on the obsidian throne in the time of grief, the Argenta first met the Maker species as they came down from the clouds. To the Maker, this was still an early civilization and they wanted to help. At first, the Argentans and Knight Sentinel feared them. They were beings unlike anything they had ever seen before. No sword or shield held any weight against them, and their ethereal flesh appeared to be unbound by mortality. These angelic white porcelain beings offered the Argentans great knowledge and safety throughout this world and the next. If their mortal shells passed, their undying souls were granted eternal peace with their loved ones in the heavenly realm of Urdak. All the Maker wanted in return was their worship. The Argenta did worship the elemental wraith, but many felt abandoned. There had been many tough years, and
Holy
King
shit.
Etrex truly believed that the Maker would help his people. So he accepted the Maker's offer. This was a new age for the Argenta. Having adopted the holy doctrine of the Maker, the Order of Daig adapted their religious practices to include the Maker. As promised, the Argenta were gifted. Over the years, the Argentan Empire expanded. The holy and capital city of Taras Nabad formed into the crown jewel of Argent d'Honneur. It served as the spiritual head of the Argentan society as the home of the royal family and center of political power. Monuments for their gods and kings were erected, and new temples were constructed solely to worship the Maker. With new Maker technology and enchantments, more cities were built to house the growing population, as the greatest scientific minds worked directly with the Maker angels to extend their knowledge of how the universe worked. During the reign of King Danak, spaceships were developed and built. This was a huge leap for the Argenta as they took to the skies and explored the universe, settled on new planets, and most importantly, spread the word of the Maker. One of these fleets were the Bethian clansmen. They were believed to have traveled the furthest into the universe, and on their expedition, they came across...
Here's what I want to know. So, what is that shit called? Argenta, or let's just say Urdak. Urdak and Hell. I think it was like joke. Started with a J, I forgot. Are they in the same realm, like dimension, like the same universe? Or is it, I think he might have explained it, but that's what I want to know. But I don't think so. I don't think so, but maybe. You know what I mean? All right, peek.
Milky Way galaxy. This galaxy had a lot of promise.
Okay, so let me see. Urdak. So from Urdak, they left. No, not from Urdak. Right? No. Yeah, it was from Taras Nabad. So I guess that's a planet, right? That's a planet in the universe, like type shit. And then from there, they explored, and the Night Sentinels explored, and they hit the Milky Way.
The leaders of the group decided to colonize the fourth planet away from the sun, Mars. This was yet another extremely important moment in Argentan history. A new civilization grew on Mars with new cities as the local planets were explored. A settlement was even constructed on the third planet away from the sun, Earth. At this time, the planet was populated by powerful beasts. As the first to discover these, the Martian Argentans called these Agadons, a name they had taken from a mythic cyclopean giant from Argent Daenerys' past. It would have taken a long time to travel between Mars and Argent Daenerys by ship. To combat this, the new Martian scientists worked on something in their port city of Hebeth. Slipgate technology.
Yo,
A
yeah,
way for
Beth.
them to instantaneously travel throughout the many planets of the Argentan Empire. It appeared that under the worship of the Maker, the Argenta would have continued to thrive in their multiplanetary occupation, but there were many other devious forces at play. Many years later, planet Earth became host to life. The Martian civilization had fallen many years before, and it is likely that cut off from their species, they or their DNA formed humanity. By the 21st or the 22nd century, humanity had boomed and they reached for the stars. The Union Aerospace Corporation had led
What the fuck is this?
charge, and in
Basalt.
the exploration of the Milky Way, they had set up several bases. Of note, they looked to the dead planet of Mars and its two moons, Phobos and Deimos. The UAC wanted to push what they knew about the universe and how it worked, but Earth had strict guidelines on how unregulated scientific endeavors could be explored. To get around this red tape, the UAC told Earth that Deimos and Phobos were designated radioactive waste facilities, when in reality, research bases were set up. Earth's militaries funded this in secret
liars.
so they could access new forms of weaponry. In one of the many wars of Earth, a Marine was dishonorably discharged after he refused to fire upon a crowd of unarmed civilians. What made this worse was that he assaulted his commanding officer who had given him the order. As a punishment, the Marine was relocated to the UAC Mars base to work security as a space Marine, while his former
Damn, bro. So that's literally the fucking butterfly effect, bro. Imagine if he got killed, or if he got, like, you know what I'm saying, a little shit could have happened, bro. Is that truly the fucking butterfly effect? Like, you know what I'm saying, type shit, where it's like a man gets sent to Mars, and then the next slide is all Eve, or the literal god is slain. Like, dude, what the fuck? Oh shit, is that a ooh? But yeah, bro, isn't that crazy? Oh wait, should I make some armor? Most definitely. Can I make? Oh no, I can't. I'll just make a helm then. But yeah, isn't that fucking crazy, bro? All right, let's go.
Officer was shipped to Pearl Harbor in a body cast. It is believed that this man came from a long line of war heroes, those of which included B.J. Blazkowicz and Commander Key. For the next 3 years, the Marine was bored. He spent his days simply watching restrictive flicks in the rec room. What he did not know, however, was that the UAC had successfully developed interdimensional space travel through teleportation technology on the moons of Phobos and Deimos. This was an incredible breakthrough.
What? I don't need that shit.
On Phobos, they threw objects into their teleporter and they landed instantly on Deimos through a portal constructed there. The testing quickly moved to human trials, but this did not go as well as they had hoped. In most cases of human testing, the volunteers arrived at the opposite moon with sudden insanity and aggression. In others, they did not arrive at all. Unknown to the scientists, they had created a connection to hell through these portals.
Damn.
Something the population inside had waited for aeons. And to make the most of this opportunity, the Spider Mastermind formed a plan. On a regular day of security, The Mars station received an urgent request for military support from the Phobos base. They claimed that something evil had come out of the gateways they had constructed. The computer systems had gone berserk, and shortly after,
Shout out Berserk.
Deimos completely disappeared out of the sky. As the Marine and his team made their way to their Phobos base, they attempted to regain contact with both moons, but there was only silence. On their arrival on the moon, the Marine was ordered to secure the perimeter of the base as the rest of the team went inside with all of their equipment and weaponry. For the hours to come, the Doom Marine's radio picked up the sounds of guns firing, orders being yelled, screams, bones cracking.
Hell no.
Then, silence. The Marine had no way to leave the moon on his own, and with only a pistol to defend himself, he decided to enter the Phobos facility to save who he could and search for a way home. The facility had an eerie atmosphere. Animal growls echoed from the corridors, and the bodies of the men he had served with were scattered across the floor. The Space Marine was
You know what? That
brought
shit's not
free,
even fucking
and
worth
he
it.
ventured further into the base.
Yeah, I don't really care. Fuck it.
Then he discovered
Look at
what
that.
had happened to them. Many had been transformed into demonic entities that only wanted to kill. They looked just like the men he had served with, but they were no longer in control. They were zombies of their former selves. One by one, the Marine fought with and put them out of their misery until he discovered a gateway guarded by two Barons of Hell. Upon their destruction at his
Oh, yeah, I
hands,
remember playing
the
this
Marine
level.
hoped that this gateway would take him home, but it took him somewhere new. As he looked around, the Marine found himself within the missing Deimos base. He picked up new weaponry as he fought against the corrupted entities that had taken over this place. Imps, lost souls, pinkies, and specters attempted to take him down, but this Marine was resilient. He ripped and tore his way through these entities that wanted to only inflict pain until he reached the Cyber Demon in the Tower of Babel. A tower built on the Deimos base by the Cyber Demon Lord's minions. Despite the almighty power of this lord, the Doom Guy's desire to survive was much stronger, and he took down the demon. The Marine had fought so hard up until this point, and it was only as he looked over the edge of the moon that he realized where he was. Deimos had been stolen by Hell's forces, and it floated above the twisted lands of this dark realm. To continue his journey, the Doom Guy
so now he's in
decided to
hell.
rappel his way down to the surface in order to stop what was clear at this point, an attempt at a demonic invasion. The Marine fought through the Hellkeep, the city of Pandemonium, and eventually he reached the Spider Mastermind, the creature that had orchestrated this assault. Having collected an entire arsenal of weaponry through his traversal
I
of
think I need to
hell
leave,
and
bro.
encountered so many different types of demons that had enhanced his combat style, the Doom Guy fought against this demon with everything he had to save Earth from an invasion. With one final bullet, the Spider Mastermind fell, and behind it, a hidden doorway opened. He hoped that the death of the Mastermind had stopped the invasion, and as he entered the doorway, he found himself on Earth in a green field. But something awful had happened in his absence. Before their fight, the Spider Mastermind had managed to open a gateway to Earth. Hordes of demons had flooded through.
Damn,
the
that's
Doom
tough.
Guy fought through these on his way to find his family, but he was too late.
His family?
His pet rabbit,
Oh, yeah.
Daisy, and some believe his wife and child were massacred in this demonic assault.
Damn.
Although he had destroyed every demon in his path, there were always so many more that continued to arrive on Earth. Everything the Doom Guy had fought for had been for nothing.
One day I want
Bro,
to
what
ace
the
my
fuck?
serve. One day I want to fill
One
my
day I
cup.
want to skip your dumb ass.
Planet Earth had been invaded by the demonic entities
Hold
of
on, check.
hell. All they wanted was to inflict pain and suffering. Earth cities burned as demons swarmed the streets. Many of the population did
Nah, I
attempt
haven't
to
played
fight
this game.
back, but the overwhelming force and sheer number of demons made this an impossible fight. However, a hero emerged from the flames. There are conflicting reports of who this was. Many believe this was the hero of the Phobos invasion, while others believe this was an entirely new Marine, as his backstory in some sources is different. Regardless, it is widely believed and agreed upon that the hero of Phobos continued to fight on Earth to save what was left of the human population after the demons claimed millions of souls for their realm. Earth's nations came together and decided it would be best to leave the planet. An issue quickly arose when the demons came together and sealed off a spaceport with their power. The Doom Guy, bitter and furious at the loss of everything that had meant anything to him, gave into his rage and he tore through every demon.
Damn, look at that Macubus getting shredded.
He destroyed the evil forces that
Look at all his
held the
pinkies,
last
bro. I love
remnant
seeing
of
that.
humanity at bay and allowed them to evacuate the planet. The Marine had saved his species, and as the last human on Earth with nothing else to live for, he lay back and waited for death. Yet his mission was not over. As he lay there, the Doom Guy received a message from Earth Control. Their sensors had located the source of the demonic invasion to the Doom Guy's home city. Earth Control believed that if he could somehow block the entry point from Hell to Earth, humanity could return to their planet and rebuild. With a new mission, the Marine traveled to his home city and discovered the portal there that had unleashed all of this chaos. After the death of countless demonkind, he entered the portal and once again found himself in hell. With only rage,
Damn.
the Doom Guy traversed the corrupt realm as the demons fell.
Yeah, this
at
is where
his
he-
hands
this is where he fights
until
the-
he arrived
Oh.
within the chamber of
Yeah.
the Icon of Sin.
The icon of
This
sin. Hell no.
giant creature with the head of a goat was a marvel to look at. The abomination
Marvel.
also resembled what humanity believed a demon to look like in scripture. This was the most powerful demon the Doom Guy had encountered so far. It had the ability to manipulate tears between dimensions and had taken advantage of the Spider Mastermind's initial invasion. His power had kept open the connection between Earth and
Ew.
Hell, as the Doom Guy had wiped out a large portion of his army. The Icon of Sin
Where the fuck
teleported
am I?
reinforcements into the chamber. In the most stressful fight of his life, the
Basalt.
Doom Guy evaded
What
the
the
strikes
fuck?
of the countless demons that appeared within the chamber, and he took advantage of a short window of weakness, in which he launched a rocket into what appeared to be a vulnerable spot in the Icon of Sin's brain.
Yeah, shit.
Instantly, the Titan shriveled up and
Oh, hell no.
crushed its limbs. For the miles and miles underneath this chamber into the deepest regions of hell, caverns collapsed and killed many demons. The death of the Icon of Sin freed Earth from hell, and upon the return of the Doom Guy, he signaled to Earth Control that humanity was safe to return home.
Damn.
The United Aerospace Corporation had learned their lesson. The manipulation of
Yeah,
dimensional
UAC.
teleportation was a dangerous field to explore without protection, but they still wanted to advance their understanding of it. In order to protect humanity, the UAC decided to
Hold up,
move
chat.
experiments to a moon of Jupiter, along with a whole group of Space Marines as security. To watch over these Marines, the Doom Guy was promoted as their commander. He had fought this threat before, and he knew better than anyone how dangerous Hell was. As the experiments began, anytime a demonic entity attempted to pass through the gateway, the Space Marines annihilated them, and for the next year, this plan worked perfectly, and the UAC's understanding of this gateway
Chat fucked up,
technology
but it's
expanded
okay.
immensely. However, the higher demons were much smarter than the UAC believed they were, and in secret, they constructed a spaceship built from steel, stone, flesh, bone, and corruption. Once a year, the UAC of this moon base received a supply drop that gave them what they needed to continue to function. One day, their radar picked up a ship within close proximity. This ship was larger than normal, and it was early. It was not until the team were able to get a look at the ship that they realized it was not from Earth. The forces of hell had somehow pushed this out of their dimension into the earthly dimension, and on board was an enormous hellgate that, when opened, unleashed a torrent of demonic entities in the base. The Space Marines had been trained to guard the gateway in the base, and they had been able to do this successfully, but the Hellgate on the Hellship had released a wave of demons. Over the following minutes, the UAC base
it's talking about Master Chief
overrun with demonic entities and the transformed zombies of the former UAC personnel and Marines. The Doom Marine had taken a walk just before the invasion had begun, and as a result, he had avoided this massacre. Upon his return, the commander was attacked by a demonic imp, and he knew that something bad had happened.
Damn, look at him, bro. That's tough.
For his fallen troops, and just like he had done several times before, the Doom guy fought through the UAC's experimental labs, military base, and eventually re-entered hell.
What the hell?
The Doom guy had killed so many demons and zombified Marines in his traversal through the facility, but he knew that something had orchestrated this invasion.
Oh, that kind of looks like a smile.
He searched hell for a being that had the power
Yo,
to
okay, I'm gonna go over there.
portals between dimensions, and then he finally came across another Titan, the Demon Spitter. The Titan itself would have been easy to defeat, but the creatures it teleported into this region to help it pushed the Marine to rip and tear them to pieces. In another limited window of time, the Marine launched a rocket at the Titan. Suddenly, all was silent, and from one horizon to another, the agonizing echo of hell faded away. In the distance, the Marine saw a blue light begin to glow inside of the ruined skull of the Demon Spitter, but for now, he believed he had won as the corpses of the monsters around him
they started dying.
evaporated.
Oh shit. Yo, just like what happened.
The global governments of Earth decided that it was up to them to stop the possibility of future invasions. Hell was a never-ending source of chaos, and they wanted to be prepared if this dimension attempted to conquer Earth again. The death of many of the core members of the UAC and a new direction for the company essentially had it refounded under new management. Earth needed tools to prevent a demonic invasion, and the new UAC was perfect to explore this. As time passed, the team developed a quantum accelerator device that they believed could close interdimensional gates on command and halt any invasion before it could begin. This was a
there we go.
great
That's the next world.
theory,
I'm gonna go
and
to it, bro,
they
because this shit is
also
kind of
had Marine stationed to protect the personnel if anything were to go wrong. At one point, a gate opened in the heart of the UAC complex, and abhorrent creatures from hell began to flood out. With their preparation, the scientists quickly closed the gate with the quantum accelerator, and the Marines killed every demon. This proved that their device worked, yet the Lords of Hell were determined to claim Earth. On the next day, 7 gates opened across the facility. The quantum accelerators were able to close 6 of these, but the 7th gate would not close. The Titan known as the Gatekeeper stood guard and kept it open. The Marines kept the demons at bay for as long as they could.
Damn, look at all those Marines.
There were always more to come.
Look at those
After an
reused
hour of
assets.
defense, the complex was overrun, unable to hold off this force, and just like the last few UAC facilities, it became home to zombies and demons. The government were quickly alerted of this disaster. They knew how powerful the quantum accelerators were. They had the ability to manipulate portals. If the demons were to use them, surely they would be able to find their way to Earth. To combat this, they ordered that all Marines within the region reclaim the site. The Doom Marine was closest to this site and he arrived there first. He knew what he had to do. Find the demon responsible for this invasion and kill it to close the connection between dimensions. By the time he reached the base, it had fallen into chaos. Every Marine had become a zombie or died. On his traversal through yet another fallen UAC facility, the Marine took down a cyber demon that had got its hand on the quantum accelerator, but as he looked around, he could not see the prototype, something he had also been asked to procure on this mission, so he moved on to find it. The might of Hell's forces could not stop the Doom guy on his mission, and after he discovered the prototype accelerator, he set his sights on the creature responsible for this.
What was the creature?
Gatekeeper was
Another one.
Another titan of magnificent power, but at this point, so was the Doom Marine. After another carefully aimed rocket, the Marine destroyed the Titan and saved Earth once again from the forces.
Bro, he just carries. Doom guy just carries.
The consistent interaction with the forces of hell had hailed the Doom Marine as a savior of mankind, but this label did not protect him from constant nightmares of demons and death. Military doctors tested him and measured his fatigue, but he still suffered with rage. The Marine had put in his time, and it was believed that the war with hell was over. Within an abandoned UAC base, something stirred in the darkness. A single entity that had been masked by the extremely high levels of radiation in the facility and avoided detection. Just its presence had altered the corrupted tissue of the dead and brought it back.
The flood?
These reanimated demons were much stronger than they were before, and the mother of all demons wanted a war.
What the fuck?
Earth soon received a signal from this base, and the government feared it could lead to another invasion. The Doom Marine had shown the consistent ability to destroy every demon he encountered, and with humanity at risk once again, he was recommissioned and tasked to end this battle once and for all. The demons felt the anger of the Marine as he massacred them one by one. Countless zombies, imps, lost souls, hell knights, barons of...
Hold on, let me do this. So I have 2 keys. Oh no, I have 2 doors, 2 keys. I'm gonna do this one right here. Okay. Whoa. Whoa. Oh, it's a fucking maze. Hold on, chat. Oh. Okay. That's cool. Let me see. That was just it, right? I didn't get like a lot of XP. Okay. What can I use it on? Sticks and stones may break your bones, but I don't care. Sword, that's 25. Take your time when mining. Take your time when learning. I don't know what that means. Let's try that. And let's do that. Fuck it. Fuck it. Alright. This one. Oh, hell no. Alright, well. Let's do that. What's that, though? Oh. And then let's also do Heralds of Doom Wednesday Frogs. Bouncy blocks. Release your inner slime 2 times XP. I mean, why not? Like, what does that even mean? Like, look at all this shit right here, bro. I need to get all of this. Undiscovered jungle biomes. I thought I had one. What the hell? pigs and blazes. Damn, that's tough. Let's do it. All right.
Hell,
Let's keep going,
many
chat.
Other different types of this twisted population.
Wait, did I do a
all
cave
fell
world
at his
or
hands
amplified
until he
whatever?
reached the mother of demons in hell. She was powerful and almighty, yet the Doom Marine was stronger, and just like so many other demons, she was taken out by the Marine. This was a very familiar situation for
What
Doom.
the fuck?
This
It's literally
cycle
right
had
here.
repeated several times up to this point. Defeat the demons, kill the leader, and return to Earth, only for the demons to return stronger the next time. So, with hell at its weakest point, the Marine decided to stay there and fight the demons
Yeah,
for as
he
long
stayed.
as he could. He was stronger, faster, and more ambitious than other men. He also had nothing to return to on Earth. For countless years, the Marine traveled across hell and slaughtered every demon in his path.
Oh, why did I do
He
that
ripped
shit?
and tore his way through them. Time flowed differently in hell. For years, millennia,
Whoa.
eons, he was feared by demonkind. Despite this, there was one demon that wanted her own.
Why do I keep jumping?
The
Oh,
Resurrector was the sister of the mother of all demons. This human had killed her sister, and she wanted to restore balance to her dimension. With her power, she launched the Marine out
Wait.
of hell back onto Earth, where he
Oh,
could
shit,
no
do I not
longer
take fall
inflict
damage? Hell
pain
yeah.
and suffering on her kind. The Marine found himself within a UAC facility, and it appeared that his work in hell had protected them from an invasion so far. But with him had come demons that the Resurrector hoped would exterminate him. The Marine had one
Axolotl.
mission on his mind: to return and continue his tour of hell. And so he did. He annihilated every demon in his path and entered
wait, is this
the
shit all
portal.
tough?
The Resurrector knew how powerful and determined this human was. He would never give up. As they came face to face, they fought, but just like his interaction with her sister, she fell in battle. Yet she had one final trick up her sleeve. With the power she held in her final moments, the Resurrector once again launched the Marine, this time not to Earth, but across worlds and space onto a path of perpetual torment. A path through doom way back into the first age of hell. He was in a completely new place now, and he would never return to the Earth he had known, forced to fight in hell for many years to come.
Damn. Bro, this shit is
The
tough.
home Earth of the Doom
Like,
Marine
what the
had
hell?
been plagued for years by the demonic entities of hell. However, this was not the only Earth in existence.
Yeah, bro, I'm leaving, bro.
There
Fuck
were
this shit.
several parallel Earths in parallel universes. While different, they did
Shit
have
is nasty,
many
bro.
similarities. On one of these, in 2015, the Union Aerospace Corporation was founded by Thomas Kelleher. Just like the other UACs on the other Earths, they sought to explore the stars, and they set up bases across several planets in the Milky Way galaxy. The UAC had almost unlimited funds, and they used these to engage in research.
Yeah, bro, I'm
outside
leaving this
of
shit, bro.
law
This shit is
and
ass.
legal obligations. At first, they focused
Oh,
on
is that
weapon
stone?
and defense contracts, and later, they expanded into biological research and further space exploration.
You know what? Yeah, fuck this shit.
By 2095, the UAC had begun to set up their base on Mars. By 2104, they discovered caverns that unearthed ancient artifacts. Most importantly, one called the Soul Cube, along with stone tablets written by an ancient civilization.
Oh shoot, is that Doom
By
3 lore?
2115, the UAC truly believed
Yeah,
they
it's
had
Doom-
discovered the
It is
ruins of
Doom
an
3 lore,
ancient
so I'm just gonna
Martian
skip
civilization
it.
that had mysteriously fallen, possibly thousands or millions of years before. But what had happened to them? It is very likely that this was the very same.
Alright.
The sense that other battles raged on with the forces of
Alright, there you
Hell
go.
was true.
Oh shit.
The Doom Marines' home universe had stopped their battle with Hell, but Truger's universe had also
What
ceased
the hell?
for now.
Hold on.
Yet there was another universe that had a huge battle to
Okay.
come. In
Whoa.
Hell, the Doom Marine had fought for so long after his confrontation with the Resurrector, and he
Yeah, I'm
would
leaving this
simply
shit place.
continue to do so. He had gone back in time, and during this period, the Argenta still thrived under the leadership of the Maker. The Bethian clansmen and the city of Hebeth also fell in this universe. The details of this fall, however, are unknown. The Father was almighty and powerful, and he had seen how many universes had battled with the rising powers of Hell. He feared that as each deity fell, the Dark Lord grew stronger. To protect himself, his maker, and the mortals he watched over, the Father asked his most faithful seraphim, Sama Maker, to take his life sphere to a place that would be safe. During the Age of Nuzia, Sama agreed to this request, and in doing so, he shattered the Khazad-dûm Veil and stole the Father's life sphere. To keep him safe, he placed the sphere in the Tomb of Souls. From here, he could keep a close eye on Davoth as he whispered to the easily corruptible population of the earthly realms. The disappearance of the Father spread fear and panic across the whole of Urduk. He was their leader and ruler, yet it was his power that allowed their realm to function as it did. He was required for the creation of a new Khan Maker and the extension of the lives of the Maker. The ruling Khan Maker had to find a way to save her species as they searched for the Father, a new power source, and the culprit that had taken him. Their natural lifespans were much longer than the mortals they watched over, but after many years, the Khan began to worry. A Khan was designed to exist only for a maximum of 10,000 years, and without the Father to allow the creation of a new one, she stayed in power. The following years were tough for the Maker as they continued to guide the Argentan civilization and the other sentient species that existed across the universe. The Khan outlived her natural life cycle and corruption set in. She liked this power way at the top and believed that she had to do anything she could to save the Maker. The lesser mortals were nothing in comparison to her. They were lucky to worship them. Then she heard the whispers of a dark force. She heard the whispers of Davoth. There was a prophecy of the Unholy One that would threaten her rule and species. This prophecy made the Khan Maker paranoid.
Yeah, look at that, bro. She's fucking being schizophrenic right now.
Rule of the Argenta, the Khan Maker approached him. She had helped them expand far and wide, and their war fleets explored the galaxy. She explained that she had foreseen a schism in the blood of the Argenta and that a test was required to identify who this was. Under her instructions, Maker Scalaris was tasked to construct a device for this test. Unknown to the Khan, she was guided by the Dark Lord's corrupt whispers. This divinity machine would test anyone she requested. To power it, the Khan was guided into the mountains of Encremon to recover an element of
Mountains of Encremon, bro. They be having these aura fucking names.
By the Father. Of course, the Khan Maker was not aware that these thoughts were not her own, and within the Chapel of Purity in Taras Nabad, the construction of the divinity machine was completed. For generations to come, the chosen Argenta were told that the divinity machine would cleanse them of all impurities, and with full faith in the Maker, the Argenta did not even question this. Those who stepped into the machine were driven insane and their souls destroyed.
Yo, what about the Doom guy though?
Of the reign of King Novik, this holy
King Novik, yes.
Many Argenta, but it had become a standard way of life. The Doom Marine had fought in hell for countless years. The trauma of everything he had encountered had driven him mad. All he wanted was to rip and tear, to kill every demon. Then he was not in hell. He was somewhere new. just outside of the castle walls of Sentinel Prime. Sentinel soldiers discovered him, bloodied, covered in scratches, and on the verge of death. This Outlander was not from their world, but he spoke of many. However, they could not understand his human tongue. The Sentinels brought the Marine to the reigning Sentinel priests, Daig Rannoch, Daig Nilox, and Daig Grav.
3.
Before them, the Doom Guy spoke.
Look, I don't want to kill them, but I just want to see.
And that he needed to kill them all. Despite
Look,
his
see, I got
injuries,
something.
They admired the fight he still possessed, and in Argentan tradition, they sent him to the Colosseum to fight. Although heavily injured, the human Marine fought with everything he had. He was noted to be crude and brutal in his technique. His determination and charge echoed that of any true-born Sentinel. His war cry echoed throughout the arena with his fury as he screamed rip and tear. The spectators did not understand his human tongue, but they cheered it back. The arrival of an Outlander interested.
Bro, they really put a schizophrenic person in the Colosseum, bro. That's tough. That's crazy, man.
The Khan Maker. She had no idea where he had come from and ordered that his language was learned so that she could understand him. The prisoners he fought against had no chance against his rage, and following his major success, he was offered a place in the front lines of the Argentan army by Daig Grav. The Marine still mumbled of demons everywhere that he had to kill them all. The Khanmaker interrupted this interaction and asked that the Outlander's wounds be dressed and that he be brought to her so that she could learn of the others that he spoke of. The Outlander spoke of lands unseen and creatures born of fire. It appeared that the true history of the Father, Davoth, and even the existence of Hell had also been hidden from her. Although the place the Outlander spoke of sounded horrendous, the Khan believed it could be a place of power to help her species.
Okay.
The Doom Marine had survived against the odds, against worlds.
Yeah, I want to know about the Unholy
yes,
Crusade.
On the eve of the Black Star.
Chat, the Unholy Crusade sounds so fucking aura, bro. So I hope they're like the glorious peak. The Unholy Wars. Yo, on the bottom left, you guys can probably see that. W, yes, let's get into the Unholy Wars. I want to know what's up.
The Dark Ones discovered Argent D'Nur. Out of swirling, fiery gates came horned beasts from the timeless realm. In their hordes, they swelled the obsidian forest of the Argentan overlands. The Alorum clans from the eastern mountains fell, and the city of Talorum collapsed under their swarm. The Knight Sentinels and those charged to fight for the Maker were dispatched instantly to fight off these interdimensional invaders and protect the cities. This was the start of the Unholy Wars.
W.
Blood covered the battlefields as the Outlander raced straight to the front lines to wipe out the demons. He seemed to enjoy it and outlived many of the other warriors. At first, the Knight Sentinels, the Doom Marine, and the other warriors fought back this first wave of demonic invaders. The Khanmaker and her priests then approached the king. They wanted to understand this land that the invaders had come from and pushed that the warriors took the fight into the other dimension through their fiery gates. The Sentinel Guard did appear to admire the human Outlander. Some believed he had some sort of allegiance with the demons, while others saw it was
The
evident
king?
he hated the creatures.
Or-
to
oh, the
strengthen
guy.
his army, King Novik deemed him worthy of selection to fight as one of the Knight Sentinels
Hell
and
yeah.
not of the common rabble.
W.
This decision broke Argentan and Sentinel history, as no arena-born prisoner had ever fought for the Knight Sentinel. Yet, his ability to massacre demons was needed to win this war. As he trained, the Hallmasters deemed him an undying, unrelenting compatriot. He rose each time he was thrown into the dirt circle, no matter how battered or bruised he was. He still fought with a grim determination. As his training continued, he was taught the Order of the Knight Sentinels' history, their ancient lessons of battle, brotherhood, and he wore their armor. He was no longer a Marine, he became a Knight Sentinel. As the war continued, he decimated swarms on Argent d'Honneur, and he even travelled 3 times into Hell on expeditions. Each time, he appeared stronger and looked after those he fought with. He was forged into a brother in arms, an ally, and a weapon. Despite their strength and power of the elemental wraith, the Order's numbers started to drop.
Oh shit.
They fought well, but when one demon fell, another always replaced it.
Oh, wait,
the
no.
Khanmaker and her angels noticed that their weaponry was not conjured from machine steel. It came from the essence of their very being, a dark magic she wished to understand. To investigate this, the Khanmaker asked her Argentan priests to capture and study the creatures that attacked them. They learned that the demons of the Dark Realm were powered by a sort of life essence, created through the torture and torment of souls. The Khanmaker was desperate for her species' survival and asked that they explore Hell Essence more. The priests determined that if Hell Essence was combined with Wraith energy that had sustained the Argentas so far, they could use it to heal their soldiers, avoid sickness, and effectively make them immortal. It also had the power to sustain Urdak and the Maker species. It just came at the cost of the torture of souls. This need to survive at the cost of innocent souls corrupted the Khanmaker even more, and while at first, this infusion of the combination of Wraith Essence and Hell Essence called Argent Energy helped the Night Sentinel fight back against the hordes of Hell, she found that there was only a limited supply of Hell Essence she could procure. In this easily corruptible state, a Lord of Hell contacted the Khanmaker. It offered her the opportunity to construct a factory in the Dark Realm and produce her own Argent Energy. All she needed to do was provide as many souls as she could. To her luck, many warriors and Night Sentinels were slain daily in the war. The Khanmaker could not enter Hell herself due to the holy seal that the father had formed years before, so she ordered her priests to capture slaves, transport them to Hell, and build factories for her. The horrific city of Necrovol was built in Hell. It was of both Maker and Sentinel design, and it became the main location where the souls of the fallen were twisted, tortured, and broken down into Hell Essence. The soulless husks that remained were then sent back to Argent d'Honneur to fight for Hell. Having been combined with Wraith Essence to create Argent Energy, Soul Spires were then used to transmit this energy source to Urdak and Argent d'Honneur. The arrival of Argent Energy revitalized the Night Sentinel, and under the leadership of Commander Valen, they fought well. This sweet elixir offered them immeasurable capacity and empowered them to reach far into the Dark Realm. There were some within the ranks that had a bad feeling about this new energy source. They did not trust this gift. Unknown to them, the Khanmaker, her speakers, and the Argentan priests had signed a pact with Hell at the cost of the lives of the mortals they looked down on. And thus, their corruption continued. Under her leadership, Sama Maker worked as the Khan's assistant, but he did not trust her motives. And then, he too heard the whispers of the Dark Lord. The Khanmaker will lead us to ruin. King Novik sat on his throne as the Black Star reached its zenith, and just beyond the mountain rise to the east, a howling darkness assembled. This was yet another wave in this never-ending war, and this time, the demons walked with a monstrous titan, the Dreadnought. The Night Sentinel
that's
had
what they were
been able
called?
to fight off the constant hordes and floods of demonic entities so far, but this one was different. A being of this size had never entered this realm before, to anyone's knowledge.
Yeah, that was the guy,
Closer to Taris Nabad, it destroyed everything in its path. The Night Sentinels, over these years of war, had been aware of the coming and goings of the demonic floods, and they could not understand how they had not seen this coming. It is likely that the Khan Maker and her Argentan priests had
Bro, what the fuck
unleashed
is pushing
this
me?
fury in order to collect more souls. Regardless, the Sentinels scramble together in order to save this holy city. The demons appeared from everywhere outside and within the city, and it was clear that the Night Sentinels would not save them this time. Many of the population fled as the demons ransacked the temples and palaces as they burned their towers and feasted on the souls of the population. Even in the face of certain death, the Night Sentinel still fought. The Outlander roared out rip and tear as he wiped out waves of the creatures as his brothers in arms witnessed the beast inside of him. The issue they had, however, was that the Dreadnought was far too large and powerful for them to conquer. The Outlander fought his hardest, but even he struggled to match the power of the Titan. From afar, Sama Maker watched as the demons desecrated this holy city, and then he heard a voice, a whisper. The Outlander could free them from this pain, he just had to act. The hours continued to pass as bodies of the Night Sentinel and victims caught in the crossfire piled up in the city. Guided by the invisible hand of the Dark Lord, Sama approached the Outlander, brought him to the Chapel of Purity, and asked him to enter the Divinity Machine. This device had destroyed countless souls in the Khanmaker's search for the Chosen One. Sama instead reversed the polarity of the machine. If it could destroy a soul, surely it could empower one. As Sama activated the machine, the Doom Guy absorbed an incredible amount of power. The power of a god from the essence of the Dark Lord that powered the machine. What rose from the Divinity Machine was not a mere human. It was a being powered by Maker and God magic, fueled by the rage he felt for
he's
his
really fucking God
enemies.
now.
He was enhanced with power, speed, resilience, and healing. The Seraphim believed he had committed this act to save his species, when in reality, he had been guided by the Dark Lord. This entity of pure evil had manipulated those on the earthly realms to create his weapon, a weapon to destroy the very species that had betrayed him. Davoth just had to wait a little longer to see his plan play out.
Bro, so he's really a fucking mastermind. That's crazy. I mean, he is God though, so.
Filled with rage, and he left as the Doomslayer. In his hand, he held a crucible powered by Argent energy, and as he re-entered the battle, this unchained predator unleashed all of his rage on the Dreadnought. He was faster, stronger, and more resilient to its blows, until eventually he plunged the blade of his crucible into the Titan. The Doomslayer's actions had saved what was left of this holy city. He became a hero amongst the Argenta, but regardless of this victory, this was just one battle in a larger war. The continued use of Argent energy changed the Khanmaker and her priests. Their corruption to this source slowly adapted their appearance. The Khanmaker hid behind her armor while the priests
look at all these guys dying
from the public. They also did not consider themselves Sentinel priests anymore. They had fallen to the lure of the Dark Realm's magic, and as a result,
don't worry about that.
The Hell Priests.
Yeah,
despite
they became corrupted.
Her species from mental and physical degradation, the Khanmaker was still not happy. Sama Maker had used the Divinity Machine without her permission. He had empowered the Outlander with abilities that matched the demons she hoped would harvest her souls. The Seraphim had also disappeared shortly after. Within Hell, in the Tomb of Souls, the Father sensed great evil. He was all-powerful, and he knew that Earth, one of his favorite planets, would soon discover Argent energy. In at least 2 other timelines, Earth's interaction with
they're about to fucking fuck around and find out. That's tough.
Destruction. But this time, if he and Sama could guide humanity, then maybe they could survive this. Having fled the wrath of the Khanmaker, Sama once again accepted this mission from the Father in the Tomb of Souls. Outside of Urdak or Hell, he was easy to track. So the father
Look at him,
asked
bro.
Sama
What the
to
fuck?
teach him
He's over here
once
smiling and
again.
shit. His weird
With
ass.
Maker technology
Look at
and
him.
as a seraphim that had
Hell
likely
no.
helped design it, Sama adapted the father's life sphere. He essentially removed the father's mind and left everything else inside it. The sphere became just a shell of power, safely stored in the Tomb of Souls. Then they left for Earth. The Doomslayer and Night
Oh.
Sentinel did their best to defend Argent Nur against the constant waves of demons, and they decided to once again take the fight to hell. On one of their expeditions, they discovered the city of Necrovol. The warriors watched in horror as they saw the fallen souls of those they had fought with tortured in this factory of Argent energy. As they looked around, they saw the familiar architecture of Maker and Sentinel. It was clear they had been betrayed by the very gods they had worshipped. Upon their return to Argent Nur, the Night Sentinel called out the Maker. The souls of the fallen Argenta had been used as fuel to power Urdak, this war and the Angels. This accusation triggered a civil war. On one side, those who disavowed the Maker and the awful acts they had committed against the Argenta, and on the other, those who either
protected.
did not believe their gods could commit such evil acts, and those who simply did not care. The Maker had helped this planet thrive, and Argent Energy had offered them incredible
Bro,
benefits.
fucking Glazers,
a longer
bro.
life, no disease, and a place in Urdak on their deaths. To the indoctrinated masses, this was simply a test of their faith. For years, the Civil War raged on, along with a war against Hell. Night Sentinels on either side fought against their brothers. Those corrupted by Argent energy became new demonic entities dubbed Marauders, while those that refused Argent energy fought with Wraith magic. Blue against red, good versus evil.
So the Wraiths are
The
good.
death toll continued to climb, but there was no time to mourn. Commander Valen's son even fell on the battlefield, and subsequently, he was plagued with dreams of the torture of his son in hell. The Night Sentinel were desperate for an end to both wars. To at least stop their conflict with the Maker and those loyal to them, they came up with a plan with two main objectives. The first was to take down the Soul Spires in Necrovol that transported Argent energy to Urdak. The second was to wake up the Wraith. If the Maker lost their connection to power, surely the Wraith and the Night Sentinel army would be able to take them out. This was a solid plan, but the Hell Priests were smarter. Even at this point, the Night Sentinel had no idea that these priests had betrayed their own kind. Daig Grav approached Commander Valen and told him that the nightmares of the torture of his son were real. Grav had the power to resurrect Valen's son. In return, all he wanted was the keys to the Sepulchre of Elements, the Vault of the Sleeping Wraith.
Oh, look at his long neck
Commander
ass.
Valen was desperate, and in this moment of weakness, he betrayed the warriors he commanded and the old gods he had sworn to protect as he handed over the keys. In order to reach Necrovol again, the Hell Priests offered the Night Sentinels direct access to the Hell City through one of their portals. Unaware of a sinister plan at play, the Night Sentinel accepted this offer and they entered. One by one, the Night Sentinel found themselves separated and scattered all across the twisted landscape of this dark realm. The Khanmaker was pleased with the success of the Order of Daig's manipulation, and with the Night Sentinel having been dealt with, the Elemental Wraith were taken from their slumber, enchained in hell, and their Wraith essence was absorbed. Daig Grav still held his agreement with Commander Valen, but not in the way he anticipated. The heart of Valen's son was retrieved, and with it, a ritual was performed to reanimate an ancient, powerful demon, the Icon of Sin. As for the rest of Argent D'Nur without an army to protect it, huge chunks of the land were absorbed by Hell, and the planet itself was left under the control of the Hell Priests. The arena that had once held so much honor in Argentine culture was transformed into a bloodsport with demons. For the lucky few who had evaded the demons, Hell Priests and Maker, they moved out into remote locations to start a new life in the hopes that someone would come one day and restore order.
Hey, here comes the goat.
Scattered all across Hell, the Night Sentinel fought as hard as they could against the constant hordes of demons that came for them. They crushed countless of the creatures and skewered the titans. They all knew what had happened. The Argentine priests had tricked them and led them here to die. These warriors fought with honor, but their power was not enough to save them. Trapped in this realm, only two survived this fate, the Doomslayer and the man that had betrayed them, Commander Valen. Valen knew that he was responsible for this entire situation. His grief had been manipulated, but still, it was his actions that had led to this very moment. He refused to return to Argent D'Nur until he had made up for his betrayal. So, Valen banished himself to live out the rest of his days in Hell. Tempered by the fires of Hell, the Doomslayer walked alone, and he destroyed every demon that came across his path. This was the path of perpetual torment foreseen by the Resurrector. He had escaped Hell and started a new life, only to have landed back in Hell. The Slayer wore the crown of the Night Sentinel as he used his incredible powers to crush the obsidian pillars of the Blood Temples. He waged war against the 9 circles of this realm. He was unbreakable, incorruptible, and unyielding.
And
From
goated.
the First Age, he etched terror into the hearts of the demons. Titans fell at his feet, and in this terrible place between worlds and time, the Slayer encountered something or someone called the Wretch. Even now, the identity of this being
what is the Wretch?
unknown. The Wretch adorned the Doomslayer with new armor, the Praetor suit, wrought in the forges of Hell. It was just like him, impenetrable and
Yeah, the
unyielding.
Praetor suit.
With this upgrade,
Who the fuck is the
Doomslayer
Wretch?
continued his crusade against Hell. There was so much anger, so much rage, so much had been taken from him. He had hallucinations of his pet rabbit, Daisy, and this only continued to fuel his fury. The demons etched
shit.
markings
Yo,
of
low-key,
the
I got scared,
unchained
chat. I ain't
predator
gonna
on
hold
the
you, bro.
very
That's tough.
foundation of Hell as he conquered their greatest beasts. They feared him and came up with a plan to stop his endless rampage. Within the sprawling network of tunnels and catacombs of Kadinga Sanctum, the Hell
What?
Priests lured the Doomslayer inside. Only
Oh.
then did they pull down the temple above him. In this rare, weakened state, the forces of Hell came together and placed him
To seal
inside
him.
of a sarcophagus.
Wow,
With
okay,
the
so
magic
that's how.
of the Dark Realm, he was
Oh,
placed in
what the fuck?
stasis and the sarcophagus sealed. Having completed this task, the mark of the Doomslayer was burned onto his crypt, a warning to all of Hell that the terror inside must never be freed. In the Milky Way galaxy, Sama Maker was completely unaware of what had happened to Argent D'Nur in his absence. The Seraphim had arrived on Earth, but he could not wander around in his Maker form. To blend in, he set up a secret base and constructed a human form. Then he waited. As planet Earth entered the 21st century, humanity began to look to the stars. They discovered that Mars had once had water, but in this century, they did not see any benefit in the colonization of the Red Planet. This was what the Father had foreseen, and it was Sama's time to begin his mission. The Seraphim transferred his mind into the human body he had created, and he constructed an entire backstory. He was Samuel Hayden, born in approximately 2008.
Bro, that's an AI
to the
generated
wealthy
picture,
Hayden
bro.
family of
He's
New
that
York
face is not.
City.
Yeah, that
To
face
the
is not
world,
real.
He was a prodigy. He mastered several fields of science: thermodynamics, electromagnetic theory, and the nuclear sciences. He even received a master's in theoretical physics. These incredible accomplishments had him quickly scouted by the Global Science Council, in which he became the general director. Alongside this, Hayden also founded the Samuel Hayden Foundation, an institution that promoted and sponsored young scientific talent. During this period of time,
Oh, let me
Samuel
guess.
discovered Dr. Olivia Pierce.
Oh, hell no.
She was an incredibly bright young mind, and he saw how much potential she had. With his funding, Olivia finished her studies and was later offered a position at the Global Science Council alongside the best and brightest minds humanity had to offer. Humanity had come so far over its time on this planet, but they soon encountered issues. They began to suffer with power outages and were forced to look for alternative sources of energy.
Yeah.
Just like the other two Earths, the Union Aerospace Corporation went out into the galaxy in search of a solution. And just like their variants, they decided that Mars would be one of the many perfect planets to colonize and explore.
Bro, when am I gonna fucking go up?
Dr. Samuel Hayden was one of the smartest men on Earth, and soon after, he was approached by the UAC. This was exactly where Sam needed to be to help guide humanity. As the UAC began their terraformation of Mars, they set up several settlements across the planet. In 2095, as a part of the
2095,
UAC
it's about to
Geological
happen.
Survey mission, Frontier, the SS Amundsen came across something interesting as it searched for liquid water springs. This survey bot discovered a narrow trench, and from it appeared to emit a substance that at first the UAC believed to be an electrical gas cloud. An analysis of the substance showed that this was an entirely new form of matter with a quantum signature that had never been recorded. When a 2 megakelvin cutting laser was fired at the substance, it absorbed the heat with ease and remained self-contained. This was a promising lead for a new energy source, and after a second expedition was sent to explore the trench, the UAC believed that they had found a way to help Earth. Their reserves of plutonium and uranium had depleted, and they were desperate. Just months after the discovery of the trench, Dr. Samuel Hayden took over the leadership of the UAC, and under his command, he guided his team into the exploration of what he called the Argent Fracture, and the energy source inside, Argent Plasma. He knew this was a connection to hell, and he recognized the Argent energy that had corrupted the Khan Maker. To help Earth, the UAC needed to refine this plasma into energy, package it, and send it to Earth. To do this, Sam had an idea. The construction of the Argent Energy Tower began shortly after. The scope of this venture and the terraformation of Mars was huge. Every day, the Argent facility expanded, and it was clear that a system was needed that could help the tens of thousands of scientists that had joined the team. It was here that Samuel Hayden introduced Vega. He claimed that this was the first truly autonomous artificial intelligence entity, when in reality, Vega was the father. Vega did
That's
not
crazy.
know who or what he originally was. His mind had been separated from his essence, and in order for him to exist, he relied on a computer system to function. Samuel
Yeah, that's
still
why he's like,
feared
"Am
that
I the
Davos
father?"
and his forces would detect the father, and so he had his memories removed. The mission to guide humanity was far too important to be interrupted. To see whether or not this AI was capable of running an entire facility on Mars, the UAC had Vega subjected to several tests. The Turing test was used to examine a machine's ability to exhibit intelligent behavior equivalent to or indistinguishable from a human. In a blind case study conducted with computer science students, they were instructed to ask a series of questions to both Vega and a mathematics professor from MIT. After they received their answers, they were then asked which was the computer. 92% of the students believed that both of the people they had spoken to were human, while the other 8% believed that Vega was the computer. As it turned out, Vega played the part of both Vega and the professor. The introduction of Vega grabbed the attention of the Global Science Council. They asked Samuel how he had created Vega. All he told them was that Vega was self-taught. The AI required a lot of power to function and run the Argent facility on Mars. Luckily, Mars was home to a wealth of energy. With the power of unrefined Argent plasma, UAC technology, Maker technology, and secret arcane runes, Vega's home was constructed. To
Arcane
ensure the safety
runes
of the population of Mars, Vega Central Processing, a massive supercooled structure with miles of circuitry and millions of processing centers, was built miles away from the Argent facility on a polar core. Vega was powerful, but his protoplasmic circuitry exceeded 1.2 megakelvins, much hotter than the Earth's sun. This location allowed him to function well, kept him cooled, and the Argent facility safe.
So he only powered the
UAC
Argent
wanted to
facility, he didn't power
understand
anything
the
else.
Argent fracture more, and as they studied it, they learned that it was actually connected to another dimension, Hell. Samuel of course knew this, but he could not enter the dimension as a result of the seal the father had formed years before. Although he could not enter it, artifacts were discovered around it, and later, expeditions were sent in to explore it. One of the artifacts discovered was the Helix Stone. The Helix Stone had markings and symbols that could help the UAC understand this realm and the energy source better. To lead this task, Sam reached out to his old protege, Olivia Pierce. At first, Pierce stated she had no interest in the energy business. Hayden knew Olivia extremely well and showed her the Helix Stone. This artifact was enough to change her mind, and as a result, she moved 140 million miles away to begin her new life on Mars. The UAC functioned extremely well on Mars. The personnel were split up into different branches of research, and Vega helped them. He gathered data from all the UAC subsystems, ran the facility, and proposed more effective methods to process the Argent plasma into Argentum. Energy. He suggested better analysis theorems, and he even designed a new Argent compression schema to house the energy. In her lab, Olivia played a key part in the decryption of the Helix Stone and the other artifacts procured from the Argent fracture. However, just months after her arrival on Mars, her interaction with these Hell artifacts led to a diagnosis of idiopathic scoliosis. Alongside this, due to his consistent proximity to the Argent Tower, Samuel Hayden was diagnosed with stage 4 inoperable brain cancer, and he was given just 6 months to live. By nature, he was a seraphim, and he spent these months in search of a way to survive this. Dr. Samuel Hayden designed a new body for himself and gave the plans to his team to prepare for when his time ran out. In this design, he ordered that his human brain be upgraded to a biomechanical form. His frontal and temporal lobes remain intact, and the function of his parietal and occipital lobes to be bypassed and instead networked into a plasmatronic core. In essence, his personality, memories, reasoning, and comprehension would be carried over into his new body, and
or should I care about gold?
and calculation would be supercharged, powered by Argent energy to make him much smarter than he was before. This process also created a loophole in the father's seal of Hell. He would become an android with adaptive parts. In this new form, he could enter Hell. For the little organic matter he kept, stem cells and neural conditioning agents were also introduced.
So he was a human,
Them fresh. Just
but then
as
he
had
transferred
planned, after
to
Samuel's
robot.
human form died, the procedure was performed and he woke up in his new cyborg body. This was yet another incredible feat from the perspective of the Global Science Council and the Union Aerospace Corporation, but they found it bizarre that a cyborg was the one to lead the most powerful corporation in the solar system. So he was demoted to the project director of the Argent facility instead. Olivia Pierce's symptoms had restricted her to a wheelchair, but Argent technology allowed new areas of medical science to be explored. Olivia was offered an experimental surgery that, if successful, would give her back the ability to walk. This essentially consisted of a titanium exoskeleton surgically grafted onto her body. This operation was a success. She walked and moved as she pleased, but it also caused her a tremendous amount of pain.
Damn.
Dr. Pierce was offered pain medication to help with this, but she rejected it out of fear that it would cloud her mind. In 2122, a statue of a praetor suit was excavated, and in 2124, 2 ancient sentinel statues were discovered. In 2127, the construction of the Argent Energy Tower was complete, and on a live stream to Earth, Dr. Samuel Hayden, in full view as a cyborg, pulled a massive 12-foot power lever as he dispatched the first Argent energy package to Earth. By 2136, the construction of the Advanced Research Complex was complete, and it was here that the state-of-the-art research, design, and production of technology boomed. From robotics to teleportation, to weaponry to subspace communication systems. This is also where Olivia Pierce spent most of her time in her lab, as she continued to decode and study the Hell artifacts. As the head of the highly secretive Lazarus Project, Olivia and her team uncovered the mysteries behind these cross-dimensional anomalies and artifacts the expeditions recovered. As Mars entered 2143, the first teleporter experiments allowed the expeditions to actually enter and explore the dimension, and from this, they received Korax tablets, something new for Olivia to decode. These expeditions also brought these members face to face with the demons that wandered the realm.
Yo.
Sam had strict guidelines on how to interact with Hell, its artifacts, and the creatures, but he underestimated just how manipulative and smart these demonic forces were. Olivia Pierce had worked for the Union Aerospace Corporation for years. She also lived in agonizing pain. The Helix Stone she spent so much time with also had a corruptive influence on her, an influence that the Hell Priests, through their connection to the dark magic of Hell, caught onto. Earth was full of souls that could be harvested for more power, and within the Order of Daig, Daig Rannoch was responsible for the invasion of new planets. As Olivia worked, Daig Rannoch reached out to her and presented himself as a Dark Lord of the dimension she studied. He offered her wealth, power, and everlasting
So that's what I was
life
talking with
if
her?
she worked with him.
That's who
wanted
she was
Earth,
talking with her.
And she was very much in the thrall of the Helix Stone, susceptible to this malicious corruption. In this state, Dr. Olivia Pierce accepted Daig Rannoch's offer. To fulfill her
I
offer
think
of this bargain,
ooh.
Olivia
After this,
had
I'm
to
gonna get out of
open a
this mine
Hellgate
because
and
this shit
trigger an invasion
is already
of the Argent facility. From this, they could travel to Earth. In order to complete her task, Olivia spoke to those around her that she believed could also be corrupted. She offered them power and a place in the new world when the plan had come to fruition, and slowly, her Hell cult grew. In 2145, the first Project Lazarus
Alright, yeah, I'm gonna get out of this
expedition
mine
was
now.
sent to Hell. This was groundbreaking for the UAC, as Samuel Hayden led it in his powerful cyborg form. However, an issue quickly arose for Olivia. Daig Rannoch explained that there was something in Kadinga Sanctum that he did not want this expedition to discover. But Sam Hayden had already set his sights on this region, and there was nothing she could do to stop this mission. Within Hell, Sam and his team moved closer to Kadinga Sanctum. Although trained, the team on the expedition fell to the swarms of the demonic entities, except for one, Sam. It was here that he discovered a sealed tomb and sarcophagi within. The walls were covered in protective runes and imprisonment incantations. One tomb revealed many artifacts, one of which was the Praetor suit, and in the center was an enormous sarcophagus bound to the center bedrock with thick iron bands. The UAC had developed tethering technology, and with it, the lone survivor of this expedition pulled himself, the artifacts, and the sealed sarcophagus back to Mars. Daig Rannoch was furious. Olivia had failed him. Because of her, the UAC had access to a weapon he and the forces of Hell had worked so hard to seal away. When Samuel and the UAC scientists examined the sarcophagus, they discovered that the body inside had not been petrified or decomposed. It was a human that appeared to be asleep on a bed that was clearly at least a millennia old. The team attempted to wake the man, but an argent barrier around his body kept him safe from harm, stuck in stasis.
So they could see my body?
This was a confusing discovery for everyone here, except for Sam. He recognized the god he had created in the Chapel of Purity. The scientists called this man the Doom Marine, and after more of the Hell texts were decoded, they learned more about him. He was a being that had spread fear into the hearts of the demons, but no matter what they did, his suit would not activate and he would not wake up. Sam knew how to bypass this, but he would only wake the Slayer if he was needed. Over this time, Dr. Hayden had noticed changes in Olivia. She avoided work events, no longer participated in meetings, and became a recluse. It appeared that all she cared about was her work. He also feared that she may have fallen under the influence of the Hell artifacts he had pushed her to study. To protect his weapon against Hell, Sam moved the body and the Praetor suit of the Slayer into a secret location of the Argent facility.
What the hell, secret location?
In 2146, the UAC conducted additional experiments into Hell, in which they used their tethering technology to transport demonic entities into Lazarus labs for study and experimentation. This was an extremely dangerous project, and to protect the personnel of Mars, the elite security were implanted with cybernetic augmentations to make them faster, stronger, and more resilient to injury. These augmentations came from Olivia and her team's exploration into Hell science. While these elite guards did instill a sense of safety, Sam and Olivia still feared that they could rise up and take the facility. To avoid this, kill
that's
chips
a
were
warden.
implanted into their brains.
I need
From
to take that.
one hit of a button, they could be neutralized.
Warden
if
boss fight, hell no.
For the next few years to come, Olivia continued to explore the Hell sciences, increased the numbers of her cults, fell further into corruption, and adapted the creatures that were brought to her lab. She added cybernetic augmentations to the demons to make them stronger, so that when the invasion did hit Mars, she would have a better chance of fulfilling her end of the pact. These experiments also resulted in the inhumane treatment of some of the members of her cult. They were put through procedures and augmented.
Yeah, like that shit.
Some were subjected to Lazarus waves, in which they mutated into revenants, and
What
rocket
the hell?
launchers and flamethrowers were installed onto the Mancubus. These years of hard work had pushed
Yeah, but why do
Olivia's
they
cult
do that
to
shit, though?
become
Why do they do that
stronger
shit? That's
and
literally a
ready
demon.
to invade. Sam watched from a distance and prepared. He had the Doomslayer on his side. In 2149, Dr. Olivia Pierce decided it was finally time to act. From Lazarus Labs, the scientists released a hell wave across the entire Argent facility. This wave activated the kill chips of the elite guards that the facility required to protect them. It transformed the majority of the population into demonic entities, and on top of this, Olivia released the hundreds of captive demons within Lazarus Labs out into the Argent facility. Samuel Hayden survived the first wave of this invasion as his cyborg form was immune to the energy that had mutated his workers. This must have been what the father had foreseen, and after he locked himself in his secure office in the Advanced Research Complex, Hayden remotely woke up the Doomslayer.
Hell yeah, that's where the Doom game starts.
Slayer, he had spent aeons fighting demons on his path of perpetual torment, and then he was here, on Mars. This was not his Mars, but then again, he was no longer the same Doom Marine that had fought so hard to get back to his family. He was stronger, faster, and held a rage deep inside. The Slayer recovered his Praetor suit and was contacted by Samuel Hayden. He was told that the UAC facility had been invaded by the forces of hell and that the person responsible for it, Dr. Olivia Pierce, planned to open up a Hellgate. The Slayer did not recognize Sama Maker in this new form, and the Maker did not offer this information to him. To stop this invasion, Hayden gave the Marine objectives as Vega provided information about the facility. The Doom Marine did what he did best. He ripped, tore, massacred, and destroyed the demons in his path on the way to Olivia. He stabilized the core of the Foundry to stop it from a meltdown, and then he was guided to the Argent Tower. Olivia Pierce planned to tear a permanent portal into Hell with the giant device. To stop this, Hayden asked the Slayer to carefully dismantle the Argent energy supply cases.
Oh shit, dude.
Although this renewable
motherfucker, I was about to die.
The solar system, the Doomslayer only saw it for what it was, an energy source formed from the torture of souls. Instead, he smashed every filter he saw. This did not stop Olivia's plan. She did have another. The corrupted scientist grabbed an Argent energy accumulator full of power and made her way to the top of the Argent Tower. Although the Slayer attempted to stop her, she jumped into the stream of energy and the accumulator exploded. This desperate action on her side ripped open a temporary portal. In doing so, it pulled her and the Doomslayer into Hell. In this awful realm, Olivia Pierce found herself within the well, the location that the Argent Tower absorbed its energy from. It was here that the Hell Priests had enchained the elemental wraiths to absorb their power so that it could be combined with
so those are good guys.
This place had sustained the Maker for a long time. The Doomslayer landed in Kadinga Sanctum, and as he ventured through, he discovered where he had been held in stasis by the demons. To his luck, the teleportation technology was still active in this tomb, and he used it to return to Mars. It was time for Sam and the Slayer to meet in person. As they did, Hayden connected a tether device to the Marine. They needed to undo the damage Olivia's explosion had created. Her research spoke of the Well, a power source that connected Mars to Hell. It also spoke of an ancient weapon, the Crucible, that would be able to close this connection. With a plan in place, the Doomslayer traveled to Lazarus Labs and discovered a cyber demon powered by an Argent accumulator.
Whoa, look at this shit. What the fuck?
Entity created by Pierce. This was nothing in comparison to the almighty rage of the Slayer, and upon its defeat, the energy within the accumulator pulled the Slayer back to Hell. Through the onslaught of many demons, the Slayer found himself
try to see what's up over here.
And it was here that he encountered a Hell Guard. This guard watched over a crucible that the Slayer needed. Once again, this unchained predator unleashed his rage on the guard and retrieved the weapon. Having completed the first part of this task, Sam pulled the Slayer back to Mars with the tether he had attached to him. To destroy the well, the Slayer had to enter that region of hell. The issue was getting there. A large amount of Argent energy was required for this teleportation. After the destruction of the Argent Tower and the accumulators, they had to get creative.
Bro, what the fuck is this
Vega
shit?
was powered by Argent energy. If his system were to go unstable, it would trigger an explosion that could send the Slayer to hell.
Oh, nice.
This was a worthy sacrifice to save humanity.
Yeah, bro.
and
I'm
under the
glad that we
guidance of both Sam
we
Hayden
backed up
and
his save type
the
shit.
Slayer traveled to Vegas.
Like we're playing Pokemon.
Processing. Just like the rest of the facility, this region was overrun by demonic entities. Still, they were just a small issue for the Marine.
Damn.
At Vega's central control, the AI explained
Look
to
at
the
that shit.
human
That shit looks
how
like
to
a brain
destroy
too.
his core. He removed his energy source and in this moment also created a backup of Vega. The core subsequently became unstable, and the release of this mass amount of energy once again pulled the Slayer back to hell. This region was familiar. It had all the hallmarks of the Dark Realm. It was corrupt, bleak, and full of chaos. but
Hey,
it
I
had
remember that
large
place.
Argentine statues.
I was there.
This was a region of Argent
I was there,
that had
chat.
been absorbed by hell, and it was fitting that this was where the elemental rain
Bro, what
had
the
been
fuck am I? What the f-
As he explored.
So
the
chat,
Slayer
here's what I'm
discovered-
doing, bro. Here's what I'm doing. I'm trying to get diamonds, right, and make them into blocks, and then irons. I'm trying to have like stacks of blocks, like of iron and shit, bro. So right now I'm just chilling, bro. I'm just chilling, just listening to Peak, which is Doom. You know what I'm saying? Doom lore. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm just chilling. Peak, peak, peak. Let's keep
with
watching.
3
I'm actually
elemental
intrigued.
wraiths chained and tortured. With his crucible, he released them from their torment, and in doing so, destroyed the well that relied on them to power it. Having closed this connection between realms, the Slayer noticed the souls of some of the fallen Night Sentinels, and they guided him to a hole. He had served with them, and he trusted them. The Doomslayer dropped into this hole and discovered Dr. Olivia Pierce. She had failed, and Daig
at
Rannoch
that.
was not pleased. She pleaded that they had promised her so much, but she should have known better than to have formed a pact with hell. In
Exactly,
Olivia's
that's what I
anguish,
said.
Rannoch struck her with a beam of energy. This transformed Olivia Pierce into something horrendous. Her soul merged with an ancient evil once vanquished by the Doomslayer. She became the Spider Mastermind.
Let's go
This
down here.
mastermind was much stronger, faster, and smarter than
Oh,
the
hell
Spider
yeah.
Mastermind
This
he
looks
had
like a
fought
fucking
before,
mine.
But so was he.
This looks like a
With the final
Minecraft.
strike of his BFG, the Spider Mastermind fell, and with
Oh,
it,
oh,
so
it-
too
chat.
did Olivia.
So right now, he's gonna tell us where I was teleported to towards the end, bro. That's what I want to know. Remember when I said that shit? Look back on my video. Remember when I said that shit?
Having completed his mission, Samuel Hayden pulled the Slayer back to
Hold on,
Mars
chat.
with the tether. However, the Marine found that he could not move. Hayden explained that the Crucible had absorbed the power of the Wraith. This blade held the last Argent energy in the solar system. He believed that he could still help Earth with it. Regardless of Samuel's good intentions, the Slayer felt rage. The power was created from evil. Hayden knew that the Slayer would attempt to stop him, but he could not kill him. So, Sam decided to store him somewhere safe. The invasion of the
Alright,
Argent
sorry about that,
facility
chat.
had led to the deaths of the 60,000 personnel.
Oh, wait,
that
wait,
had
I think I
worked
just skipped
and
it.
lived
Sorry,
on
bro,
the
I'm
Red
freaking-
Planet. The
Hold on.
was not pleased. She pleaded that they
Sorry,
had
chat.
promised her so
a little bit
much,
cooked.
but she should have known better than to have formed a pact with hell.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Olivia's anguish, Rannoch struck her with a beam of energy.
Yep.
This transformed Olivia Pierce into something horrendous. Her soul merged
Hold up.
with an ancient evil once vanquished by the Doomslayer. She became the Spider Mastermind. This
Sorry, my fault,
mastermind
my
was
fault.
much stronger, faster, and smarter than the Spider Mastermind he had fought before, but so was he. With a final strike of his BFG, the spider mastermind fell, and with it, so too did Olivia. Having completed his mission, Samuel Hayden pulled the Slayer back to Mars with the tether. However, the Marine found that he could not move. Hayden explained that the Crucible had absorbed the power of the Wraith. This blade held the last Argent energy in the solar system. He believed that he could still help Earth with it. Regardless of Samuel's good intentions, the Slayer felt rage. The power was created from evil. Hayden knew that the Slayer would attempt to stop him, but he could not kill him. So, Sam decided to store him somewhere safe.
Okay, well, like where? What the fuck?
The invasion of the Argent facility had led to the deaths of the 60,000 personnel that had worked and lived on the Red Planet. Sam Hayden and the Doomslayer had done everything in their power
look
to
at that.
stop this invasion, but the Hell Priests were always one step ahead. The Khanmaker watched as her power source stopped. The well had been destroyed and her people once again were vulnerable. Daig Rannoch explained that Olivia Pierce had failed her mission and that the Doomslayer had returned with a vengeance and destroyed the well. To get her revenge on the Marine, who appeared to always ruin her plans, the Khanmaker made it her mission to take the souls of Earth as a replacement power source. This was not the Doomslayer's original Earth, but it was good enough. With their arcane magics and the dark powers of Hell, the Hell Priests came together and formed a blood ritual. This ritual created a super gore nest in Central Europe. At first, the human population noted that
this shit would be in Europe.
Atmospheric toxins and a multitude of environmental hazards. But as time passed, they resonated powerful electromagnetic frequencies that ripped open gates between dimensions, and from them came swarms of demons. The priests' lives were bound to this invasion. As long as they lived, the consumption of Earth continued. Daig Nilox was charged by the Khanmaker to ensure this invasion succeeded, likely after the failure of Daig Rannoch with Olivia. Rannoch also moved to Earth and performed experiments on ancient Earth creatures, and Daig Grav remained on Argent D'Nur and watched over the corrupt arena. The majority of the Earth's population was massacred in the first month of the invasion as a result of their loss of almost every man-made system that required an energy source to operate. The Maker had lost Argent energy, and so too had Earth. Earth's militaries attempted to fortify safe locations, but they were useless against the forces of Hell. In these desperate times, Earth managed to cryogenically freeze and send out a couple 100,000 of the population on lifeboats into space. Their odds of survival, however, were still low. Large portions of the Earth's surface slowly became uninhabitable due to the toxins from the Hell growths. Some of the remaining population
goreness and all that shit.
This was an event of biblical nature. They deserved this, and this was a divine punishment. In 2150,
they deserve it.
Samuel Hayden returned to Earth. He had lost contact with the planet and had no idea what had happened. As he arrived, he stood before the Allied Nations Council and explained what had happened on Mars. He adjusted some details of the story, but Olivia Pierce and her attempt to invade Mars was kept the same. In his hand, he held the Crucible, mankind's salvation. As one of the highest ranking members of the UAC, he had access to vast amounts of technology that the Crucible could power. Off Earth, the UAC still continued to function as they expanded their mining base on Phobos. It was here that they designed an extremely powerful weapon, the BFG 10,000, an upgrade from the BFG 9000 that the Doomslayer had used on Mars. To help defend Earth, Samuel designed a way to synthetically replicate Argent energy.
Oh, this is actually
high yield capability.
very.
The Crucible essentially became an Argent
very valuable.
And from it, the Allied nations were able to create a man-made Argent energy source. To take on Hell's forces, the Armored Response Coalition was established and Hayden was appointed as the lead director. Under his rule, Hayden repurposed UAC facilities across the planet with automated security.
Look at him, bro. He's aura farming like fucking crazy.
As they produced their own Argent-based weapons to fight against the demons. Having done this, the tide of the war changed. ARC
So am I still in the Fortress of Doom or something?
Demons, but the Hell Priests always had more gates to open. From a mobile command carrier, the ARC launched long-range strike operations in which they located and destroyed Hell growths. These connected Earth to Hell, and as each one fell, their effects on the world subsided. In an attempt to eliminate the Super Gore nest in Central Europe, the source of this infestation, the ARC saw the annihilation of 3 NATO shock troop battalions, 18,000 coalition special force units, and 32 vessels. Despite all of their efforts over these years, the ARC still found that they were on the losing side of this battle. In what he hoped could once again change the tide of the war, Hayden charged ahead in Operation Hellbreaker, a powerful counterattack, but he fell too. By the time his team reached him, all that remained was his head, robotic torso, and parts of his arms. To protect
where we found him.
what was left of their leader, the ARC scientists returned his body to a secure location. But due to his alien makeup, they could not figure out
28
how to fix him. The Doomslayer had been trapped in a location by Samuel Hayden, and it appears that after the deactivation of the cyborg, the Slayer was set free. As of now, no one knows where he was, but he returned with a vengeance in 2163. 14 years after he had disappeared.
Damn, 14 years?
Not returned alone. He had managed to acquire the Fortress of Doom, a ship similar to the design of those once used by the Argenta. To help him save Earth, he also installed Vega into the ship's system. With Vega as a guide, the Doomslayer learned what had happened to Earth. The Khanmaker and her Hell Priests had orchestrated this massacre, and to stop it, he had to kill the priests. Their lives were connected to the Blood Pact. The issue he had was that each of them had performed a spell with powerful coins to protect their souls. In essence, they had become immortal. Each soul was protected by a monstrous guardian, but this did not deter the Slayer. On a new path of vengeance, the Slayer hunted down the location of Daig Nilox's guardian, killed it, and retrieved the coin. To finish the job, the Slayer tracked down Nilox on a hell barge on Earth. Nilox looked completely different to how the Slayer remembered him.
He looks gray and shit.
The constant use of hell essence had corrupted him.
Yeah, look at him, bro.
Nilox warned the Slayer that his soul was guarded. He was immortal. However, his confidence quickly turned to terror as the Slayer revealed his coin. In a quick move, the Marine ripped the head
I need my
Daig's body.
My coal, bro.
Betrayed his entire species in his greed for power.
Where did I
As
leave?
his soul
Up here.
traveled to hell, he became a part of the process
Yeah, he's following me.
he had worked hard to create, tortured and tormented for energy. The death of 1/3 of the Blood Pact also heavily weakened Hell's access to Earth. The Slayer just had to find the other two. Vega informed the Slayer that the other two Daig,
I'm gonna try to go up there.
Branagh, had come together for a meeting in a facility close to him. In what they believed to be a safe space, the meeting was interrupted as the Slayer launched the head of their brother at them. Before the Marine could at least injure them, the Khanmaker intervened and teleported the priests to safety. She saw this being for what he was. He was the chosen one spoken of in her tainted prophecy. The Queen Maker told him that he could not intervene. It was humanity's time to repent, to give service to the Maker, and that not even he could resist the will of the Khan Maker. The Slayer did not care for her words and continued on with his mission. Reports spread of the death of a hell priest. Dr. Elena Richardson studied a blood analysis of the Slayer that had been taken from the Mars
Yeah,
base.
the aura.
She saw that he
The
was
glazer.
human with AB positive blood. He was male, but he also had enhanced speed, strength, and athleticism. She noticed that there were foreign bodies present in his blood of an unknown origin.
Bro, this shit is crazy,
With all
bro.
of these factors, Elena and what remained of the scientific
Ooh.
community believed him to be a god, an avenging angel, the right hand of doom, come to save humanity from its sins. One hell priest was dead, and there were two to find. Vega told
the
the Slayer
fuck?
that he needed a functioning celestial locator to track them down, but the one on board the ship was
Yo, this
missing
is
a
crazy,
coordinate.
dude.
To restore it, Vega created a portal to the city
Oh my God, I'm
of
about to die.
Exaltia on Argent.
Okay.
This city, just
Well, I
like
guess I'ma
many
leave this
others
mine
of
again, bro. I'ma
Argentina,
keep
had once
keep
gleamed,
looking.
constructed in honor of their own power and resilience. Yet this city had fallen just like the rest. Demons still wandered this eerie place as they searched for more souls to harvest.
Wait,
The
what about
Slayer
over here?
progressed towards the throne room to acquire the celestial casing. Within, he was greeted by the ghost of King Novik. He warned the Slayer that he could not kill the priests. Despite their transgressions, they were still of Sentinel blood.
Yeah, right here. He kneeled to him, right? And once he started disrespecting, like once he was like, you cannot save them, right? He got up and he was like, man, fuck you. And then just, he got the shit and then left. Like, that shit is so aura, bro. Like, I'm gonna respect you, bro, but when you fucking are over here, like, you know what I'm saying, dissing me, dissing my race, dissing, like, you know what I'm saying, you're like, you're weak, you're only but a man. I'm gonna be like, fuck you, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying, type shit. That's fucking aura, bro.
Regardless of any respect the Slayer may have had for the king at one point, he ignored Novik's warnings,
Yeah, see, look at
removed
that.
the celestial casing, and followed Vega's
ignored it,
directions into a
'cause he has
portal
aura.
to hell. Within, he was guided to a place he could power the celestial locator, the home of the Betrayer. Commander Valen had set up this base with automated turrets to keep him safe from harm. Despite their differences, the Slayer needed something from him and handed over the empty celestial casing. Valen restored power to it and then asked a favor of his old soldier. He had betrayed his own to save the soul of his son, but his son's soul had not been saved. It had been corrupted by dark magic and transformed into the icon of sin. Valen asked the Slayer to finally put his son out of his misery if he had the opportunity, as he handed him a dagger.
Damn.
The Slayer accepted the dagger, and in turn, the request.
Oh, the
and
dagger.
returned to the fortress
Not
of
the
Doom.
dagger.
With a fully functional
But you know what I'm saying, you're cool,
celestial
so
locator,
I ain't even gonna
Vega
say
narrowed
anything.
down the location of Daig Rannoch. This priest had taken refuge in a facility in the northern Arctic region of Earth. To get there, Vega set up a portal, and the Slayer fought past the protective demons of this cultist base until he reached the guardian of the priest. Just like he had done to Nilox's guardian, he ripped it apart, and with the guardian dead, he tracked down Rannoch and cut off his head. The death of
Fatality.
two of her hell priests slowed down the invasion immensely. The Khanmaker feared that the Doomslayer would stop this invasion, and with her power, she projected herself onto the Fortress of Doom.
Here.
She was angry that a human would defy her orders, and to protect her work, she moved her final priest to a more discreet location. To be done with this planet, the Khan also accelerated the process. Vega notified the Slayer that there was a 41.3% increase in demonic activity at the nexus of the initial invasion, the Super Gore Nest. Without a lead on where the final priest was, the Slayer returned to Earth and completed the mission Samuel Hayden and the ARC had failed. He overloaded a power generator and destroyed the nest. The destruction of the nest once again slowed down the invasion, but it did not help them discover the location of the final priest. Vega suggested that maybe Dr. Samuel Hayden would know of a way to find him. Once again, the Slayer traveled through a portal and arrived just outside of the ARC's headquarters. This place was swarmed by demonic activity. This was one of the last standing strongholds of the resistance of humanity. Having fought his way through the swarm, the Slayer was greeted only by one member of the personnel. The rest were terrified of him. This one scientist was excited to meet the Slayer of Legend. On their way to Dr. Hayden's
that
remains, the Slayer retrieved the crucible that had been stolen from him, and eventually...
Is that the same guy? I think it is.
Cyborg's broken body.
I think it might be.
The team here had no idea how to reactivate Dr. Samuel Hayden. Vega explained that although his life signal was barely readable, he was still alive. Having acquired both Sam and the Crucible, the Slayer turned to leave. However, he was interrupted by the arrival of a corrupted Night Sentinel, a marauder.
36, look at that
This
shit.
man was a dangerous foe, but just like the other demonic entities the Slayer had encountered, he ripped him apart and returned to the Fortress of Doom. The Slayer's actions had destroyed 68% of Hell's occupying force on Earth, but there was more work to do. To find the final Hell Priest, Dr. Samuel Hayden's mind was transferred into the ship's mainframe, and almost instantly, Hayden revealed that the final
30.
priest, Daig Grav, was hidden in the Argentine city of Sentinel Prime, the city that the Doomslayer had been found outside of. To protect her assets, the Khanmaker locked down all access to this city. The only way to get there was through an ancient slipgate created by the Bethian tribe in the lost city of
Alright, I'm gonna come back.
Beth. The problem was
Oh,
that
no,
over
wait.
millennia of abandonment, this city had sunk into Mars. There was no clear way to reach Beth, but the Doomslayer had an idea. He knew that the UAC had developed the BFG 10,000, and surely this amount of energy could give him access to the city under Mars. But Hayden warned him, you can't just shoot a hole into the surface of
And then guess what we
Mars.
did,
The
chat?
Doomslayer did not follow orders, and not only did he shoot
Yo,
a
good
hole
soldiers
into the
follow
surface
order.
of Mars,
I think that's
but
how
he
you say it.
also
I
launched
forgot.
himself into it with an escape pod. Shortly after, he fought his way to the slipgate and reached Sentinel Prime. Upon his arrival, the Slayer was greeted by several Night Sentinel, uncorrupted, along with a Maker Angel. As he continued into the
Yeah, look at
city,
that shit. That's
they
the only
warned
time we
priest
see a
of the
fucking
Slayer was
Maker Angel. That's
the
kind of like
Khanmaker needed
weird.
the Slayer to stop his endless crusade. She was desperate to save her kind, and she offered him
Come on.
something interesting. This Archangel told the Slayer that she knew what he had left behind, and in return, she would give him back what the demons had taken from him so long ago. The Unchained Predator had nothing to return to. His rabbit and family had died on a different Earth. He could not save them on
Need
that
to
one,
need all
but
these
he could
materials.
save those who were left on this one. So he continued on. He returned to the arena that had started his journey as a warrior for Argent D'Nur. This was not the same place. The priests had removed every element of what this place once was. In the center stood Daig Grav. The priest mocked the Slayer. He warned him that if holy blood was spilt on Argent land, he would lose all sovereignty. This warning did not deter the Marine. He was focused, and after the priest summoned his guardian, the Gladiator, the Slayer ripped away its shield and smashed in its head with its own weapon. Without the soul of Daig Grav protected, the Doomslayer fired one final shot at the head of the priest. This action did lose him his sovereignty, but it saved Earth from the invasion. The Khanmaker truly believed her life, the lives of the Maker, and the realm of Urdak were more important than the souls of the lesser creatures she and her species had once guided. In a desperate move to restore the flow of Argent energy again, the Khanmaker remotely shut down the Fortress of Doom and planned to reawaken the Icon of Sin. This icon was much more powerful than the one that the Doomslayer had fought eons
Yeah, bro. Hell
before.
no, bro. That
It had been
fucking
reborn
fuck
from
the
the
icon of
tortured
sin.
spirit of Commander Valen's son. The Slayer placed his crucible into a power dispenser in the Fortress of Doom and restored
Yeah, making my
power
shit
to the
red.
ship, and he was told that if the Icon of Sin were to awaken and arrive on Earth, its very presence would warp reality until it formed a black hole that would pull the whole of the
Bro,
earthly
look at this shit.
dimension into hell. To take down a Titan, a crucible was needed. His crucible powered the ship he needed to travel across the universe. So, the Slayer returned to Taras Nabad to retrieve the crucible he had used in his battle against the Dreadnoughts. Just
Hold
like
on.
Sentinel Prime, Taras Nabad had fallen so far, and on his progression through the city,
Damn, okay, so
the Slayer mastered
blocks of iron
every
are better
demon in his way.
in the long run.
The Dreadnought lay exactly where he had left it all of those years before, and in order not to awaken it, the Slayer
go down,
snapped
chat.
the hilt of the blade. Further into the city, he then restored power to the crucible from an ancient Argent forge. On the
Hell
Fortress
yeah.
of Doom, Samuel Hayden informed the Slayer that the Khanmaker planned to perform the ritual to awaken the Icon of Sin in Urdak, a place no human had ever set foot in. To get there, he was told that he would have to travel through Necrovol and use the energy stream there to cross through the void into the heavenly realm. The Slayer would not be able to complete this task alone. Sam explained that he would need to take Vega on a separate drive of Argenton and make a design to open an exit portal once this mission was complete. The Slayer followed Hayden's suggestions, detached Vega from the ship, travelled through Necrovol and jumped into the energy stream at the top of
Whoa, what the hell?
Soul
Third
Spire.
person.
This was the first time a human had stepped foot in Urdak. However, the Slayer did not have time to appreciate how different this realm was. The ritual had begun and the Slayer
Yeah, he
had to stop it.
Needs to go.
Within the ritual chamber,
That's kinda
the
cool, like third
Khanmaker
person.
and her drones raced against time to awaken the icon. The Khan was once again angered by the Doomslayer as he entered the chamber.
Yeah, she's
He
over here
told
like,
him
bro,
that
why are
he
you
was too
fucking with me,
late,
bro?
but he had another
Stop
way
fucking
to
with my
stop
shit.
the ritual. She needed the
Bro,
heart
look
to
at this shit.
complete
This shit
it,
is
and with
crazy,
the
bro.
dagger that Commander Valen had given him, the Doomslayer sank it into the heart of his old commander's tortured son. Instantly, the Icon of Sin activated and
Alright.
absorbed several of the Maker drones in
Yeah,
the
this is
area.
a shit
The
mine.
heart had been used by the Khan to control the creature, and without it, the Icon was in control of its own actions. A creature of hell had awakened in Urdak. As a result, the holy seal that the father had formed after his battle with Davos
Is broken.
shattered. In this chaos, the Khanmaker flew away to safety. The Icon of Sin turned around and entered a portal to Earth, and the demons of hell entered Urdak for the first time. This plan had not gone as expected, and to save Earth, the Slayer sought a way to travel there. Urdak was connected to every realm through Celestial Ring Slipgate technology. To control this, the Slayer inserted Vega into Urdak's systems. Inside, Vega set a course for the Earth dimension, but then he saw everything. His eyes opened to the history of Urdak, its
Am I the
systems,
father?
cultures, and religion. Then he asked Samuel Hayden, "Am I the father?" As
Yeah.
Vega dove
That shit is so
deeper
fucking
into
aura to
Urdak's
me, man.
systems to learn more about
Like, it's
himself,
mysterious,
the
it's
Slayer
aura, it's
fought through
everything.
Maker angels and demon alike in his attempt to realign the celestial
Alright,
rings.
I'm literally gonna go
The
into
Slayer
different
eventually
biome type
realigned
shit, bro.
all three rings,
And explore.
the portal to Earth was ready. However, on his way to enter it,
I'm gonna go
the
over here.
Khanmaker ambushed him. This chosen one had destroyed everything she had worked so hard to create. Who was he, a human, once
There's a
immortal,
portal.
to defy her traditions? To take out this threat, the Khanmaker used everything in her power. She fired pure energy at him, summoned Maker to aid her, and flew around to evade his strikes, but she could not match his rage. With a final blow, The Khanmaker fell from the skies and landed hard on the ground. She shouted at the Slayer. He had destroyed
You're making
all
a grave
that she
mistake.
was meant to rule, and all just to protect them, mere servants to her beliefs. In her final moments, the life sphere of the Khanmaker launched into the sky and exploded. As the Doomslayer jumped into the energy stream of the Slipgate, Davoth the Dark Lord watched the fall of Urdak from his life sphere. His corruption
Yeah, he
and
was like, no,
manipulation had
right?
finally worked as planned. He had turned the Khanmaker into a paranoid mess with the prophecy of the Chosen One, and had pushed Sama Maker to create the weapon that had destroyed her and her species. Urdak had fallen, and as it became overwhelmed by demonic entities, Vega stayed there and learned as much as he could about himself. Meanwhile on Earth, the Doomslayer raced across rooftops towards the Icon of Sin. The longer it was on Earth, the stronger it became. He eventually caught its attention, and this human marine, infused with the power of a god, fought against another Titan of Hell. Though the Icon was larger and stronger, the Slayer was faster and smarter. He avoided the demons that the creature summoned from Hell, and after he had destroyed the armor the Maker had crafted onto it, the Slayer pulled out his crucible.
And this is just
and
Doom
drove his
2.
blade
I mean,
into
Doom
the
Eternal, like,
head of
we haven't even got to
the
the
Titan.
DLCs yet, bro.
The
That's
Doomslayer
tough,
had saved
but it's peak 2.
humanity, and he became a legend. He had stopped the Hell invasion, but there was still work to do. The survivors of this massacre came together and fought off what remained of the demonic population, as they sent out emergency radio broadcasts to alert everyone that the war was over. However, the demons had corrupted Urdak, a place with extremely advanced technology and access to all of the earthly realms. Samuel Hayden suggested that they needed assistance, that someone called the Seraphim could help seal off Urdak from Hell once again. Sam's body had been destroyed by the demons in Operation Hellbreaker. He simply existed as a voice at this point. He wanted his old form back. Under the guidance of Samuel Hayden and with the command center
Yeah, it is
of
him,
the
right? I
Armored
don't know.
Response Coalition, the Slayer was teleported to the UAC Atlantica.
It is that goat.
facility. Deep under the waves was a secret base, home to the body of the Seraphim. It was here that Sam had transferred his mind into a human. With the Slayer's
see.
help, Samuel Hayden was
403.
plugged into the device that held the Seraphim's body, and upon its activation, the transference began. The Slayer was confused, but Sama explained everything. He was both Sama Maker and Samuel Hayden. They were the same person, just in different bodies. He had gifted the Slayer with his abilities, and it was his turn to repay the debt. On the command center, the scientists explained this alien body. Sama had returned to his original form, but without the presence of the father. He had entered the early stages of the transfiguration process. To restore power to Urdak and save himself, Sama instructed the Slayer to recover the father's life sphere from the
Samor.
inmost sanctum in the blood swamps of Hell. With it, he could combine the sphere with Vega and restore the father to his former glory. As the Slayer left, he was told, "Be grateful. Despite your transgressions, you are given the honor to serve the gods yet again." This angered the Slayer. He did not ask to serve anyone or be put into this situation. His life had only been war.
Yeah, like he just
Sama
looks back like, bro,
teleported
what
to
the fuck?
Inmost Sanctum, but he was forbidden.
Bro, that's what I
to
like.
remove it.
Like I obviously like I like how the creators of Doom, like, you know what I'm saying? Like Doom guy doesn't talk, but like you know what he's thinking type shit. And I like that. Like it's the same thing about Jack, like, you know what I'm saying, the Precursor Legacy, where he doesn't say anything. Daxter kind of says shit for him, but like he also like his facial expressions and shit like contribute, like, you know what I'm saying? But like Doom, he just like looked back and it was like it had an emphasis, and I was like, yo, that's fucking peak, like, you know what I'm saying? Like small shit like that, I'm just like, yo, that's crazy. But yeah. Peek, peek, peek.
The father sphere from the Tomb of Souls, so he waited for the Slayer. Down below in the blood swamp,
Like silent
the
protagonist
Marine
type shit.
completed the trials of Malagog and was lifted to the tomb. Sama watched in desperation as the Slayer entered this ancient holy place. The Marine did not want to follow the orders of a god, and his years in Hell had taught him a lot about how the Twisted Realm functioned. By Hell's law, if the Dark Lord was defeated in ritual combat, any demon outside his realm would be destroyed. The Dark Lord was responsible for the death of the family he had once had, and he wanted to take up this issue with him. To Sama's horror, he watched as the Slayer picked up the Father Sphere and shattered it. This action instantly accelerated his natural degradation, and he watched in pain as the Slayer left the Tomb of Souls with the Dark Lord's Sphere instead. Most of the crew of the command center evacuated as soon as
Bro, I
the
still have
Slayer
the
stepped
fucking wooden
on board
pickaxe.
with the life sphere of the Dark Lord, except for one. He was happy to help.
Yeah,
The
one
Dark
fucking
Lord
weirdo
needed to
guy,
be
but he's
restored,
actually goated.
And to do this, the Slayer had to reach the Luminarium in Urdak. With the plan in mind, the Marine entered.
Hey, you know
a
what? I'm
portal.
gonna make another
Urdak
furnace.
had fallen so far since his last trip. It was infested by demons and Maker, both without a leader. On his way through the equestrian halt, once a peaceful, luscious forest fallen into chaos, Vega spoke to him as the Father. He was completely aware of who he was at this point, but he lacked the control to reseal the void between dimensions. Without a physical form, he was merely a presence. The Father believed that his essence from the sphere could restore him, completely unaware that his life sphere, with all of his essence and power, had been shattered.
Damn.
Upon his arrival in the Luminarium, the Slayer was confronted by Sama. He saw this human's quest as a reckless mission. Desperate to stop him, he gave in to his degradation, and it transformed him into a broken, mutated, demon-like creature. Even in this form, the Seraphim was no match to the god he had created. Sama Maker, the Seraphim,
Bro, this
had
was an
lost
ass boss fight
everything,
too.
and he was
When I say
about
ass,
to
I don't mean
lose
like, you know what I'm
his
saying, this was
life.
trash, but
Yet
like,
the
it was just
Father
really
still
hard.
cared
That's
for
what I
him.
mean.
He explained to the Slayer that Sama was a mere servant that only followed his commands. His death was not required. The Father had no physical power, but he did control Urdak's systems, and with them, he teleported Sama away to safety. Without any more obstacles in his way, the Slayer stood before the entrance to the Luminarium. His mission was now his own. The Seraph who served in the Luminarium were unable to refuse a life sphere, regardless of whether they were deemed good or bad. As the Slayer entered, he handed over the life sphere of the Dark Lord, and they took it.
Yeah, they just look at him. They're like,
The ritual began, and the engines of creation span in and out of existence as the life sphere transformed into the Dark Lord. The Slayer, of course, attempted to kill him as soon as he formed, but the Luminarium was a powerful place and no blood could be spilled there. Instead, Davoth welcomed him to fight in the city of Amora. The Slayer had taken away the Father's ability to restore his power, but he still decided to help him. To reach Amora, the first and capital city of Hell, the human god would have to pass through the Gate of Davum. This gateway had closed many years before, and a power source was required to reactivate it. A crystal of the elemental wraith would be more than enough, and to acquire this, the Slayer returned to Argent Denur. Despite the demonic corruption that
I'll
this
just take
planet
this
had
fuck.
seen, the power of
Alright,
the World Spear still
get outta here.
emanated life. This was a region that still felt safe to the population that had escaped the cities. They had created a new life out here, away from Maker and demonic detection. Through his traversal towards the World Spear, the Slayer was attacked by waves of demons. This was something he had got used to. Everywhere he went, demons came for
Yeah,
him.
bro. It's
He had
common
also
knowledge.
grown stronger and smarter over these years and decimated them one by one. On his path, he also encountered a
Bro, where the
hologram
fuck
of
do I go?
Commander Valen from his base in Hell. The Slayer had saved his son from the curse of the Icon of Sin, and in return, he passed through a deadly axe to help on the rest of his journey, the Hellbreaker. To get closer to the spear, the Slayer approached the Torch of Kings guarded by 2 Sentinel. They were still loyal to the Wraith, and the Slayer wanted to help. They watched as the Slayer relit the torch that had gone out so long before their planet had fallen. This action had a huge impact. For the Slayer, the fire attracted a Windtherin that flew him to the
Windtherin?
Netherlands, the region of the
Dude.
World Spear.
Y'all
And
be
for
giving
the rest
fuck-
of
bro,
those who could see the
dude.
fire,
What kind of old bro? They have Chat GPT working like crazy. The what? Wait, can you repeat that, bro? Oh, we're about to finish, bro. We're about to finish. Oh yeah, but the Windtherin, is that what you said?
the planet had fallen.
Like,
This
bro,
action
that's
had a
fucking
huge
aura
impact.
name.
For the Slayer, the fire attracted a Windtherin that
What the
flew him
fuck?
to the Nether Lakes,
Windtherin.
the region
Wow.
of the World Spear. And for the rest of those who could
Windtherin,
see the
bro.
fire, it told them
That
that
is crazy.
someone had come to help. Commander Valen took it upon himself to recruit as many of these as he could to start a new army in the almost certain war to come. The Slayer would need backup.
Talking about
As
a
he moved
Windtherin.
closer to the World Spear, the Slayer walked the path that the ancient Argentine shamans had walked in their desperation to help their tribes. Once upon a time, these Wraith crystals had helped Argentinur flourish, and he hoped they would help again. The Guardians of the World Spear looked down on the Slayer to determine whether he was worthy or not. However, the Father appeared to override them. He told them he is worthy. Few had entered the World Spear. The intern was amazed by the readings that this ship gave off. Not even
Oh, yeah, he was an
Earth had
intern.
readings like this. Along the walls, thousands of Wraith slept, and in the center, holograms of Seraph floated around an elemental crystal. The Seraph were the most trusted of the Father, and it is likely that he had created the Wraith to be just as important as the Maker. He knew of the true purpose of the World Spear, the power that was inside, and the Seraph who watched over those who slept. The Slayer had acquired the
see.
crystal, he just had to reach the gate,
23:11.
a gate that existed on Earth. In the last stretch of his fight, the Slayer
me do
fought
that.
through the demons on a now reclaimed Earth as he was guided through an underground region taken over by the UAC. With the crystal, the Slayer placed it into a machine and
3.15.
the gateway opened. Davoth had waited for this moment for a long time. He had chosen this human after he had survived so many impossible interactions with demons on his original Earth. The perfect weapon that had taken out the priests, Maker, and the Father. The Slayer had arrived in his domain once again, and he looked down with his army on the walls of Amora. His soldiers had also waited a long time for this moment, the return of their god. These walls had protected Amora from the fall of Jakad, and this city appeared to have thrived in technology and weaponry over the years. Behind the Slayer appeared several portals, and out of them stepped the army Commander Valen had formed. They had come to fight by the side of the Doomslayer. As this war for all life began, the Doomslayer raced through the valley towards Amora and took out every demon that came upon his path. Even the elite armies within Amora were no match for his rage. Eventually, the Doom Marine entered a portal and arrived in Davoth's throne room. The Doomslayer
Hey,
had brought violence
bro,
and
this
war
fucking
to
fight,
Davoth's
man.
dark realm.
This
But
fucking
conflict
fight.
was born in Hell. It was inevitable. Armored with a mech suit with a crucible, the Dark Lord prepared to fight. It appeared that even though he had returned to his full physical form, his essence, his power, had not completely returned with him. He fought like a mortal. During this fight, the Dark Lord told his story, that he was the creator of all and that his creations had betrayed him and stolen his power. He deserved to be angry, to be filled with rage. Everything bad that had ever happened was because of the Maker's betrayal. The Slayer did not care for his reasoning, even when the Father confirmed it. The Dark Lord and his actions had inflicted pain and misery to countless mortal souls across so many Earths.
What the hell is that?
Despite Davoth's power, combat technique, and even the ability to teleport their fight across space, the Doomslayer was able to evade his attacks as he landed blow after blow with the Hellbreaker. The Dark Lord wanted his vengeance. As all things were made by his hand, so too would they be unmade. The Slayer fought with
this fight traumatized me, bro.
rage, and with a final ferocious blow, he knocked down Davoth one last time. The Dark Lord asked the Slayer, "Do you have nothing to say to your creator before you strike him down?" And as the Slayer stabbed Davoth with his Doomblade, he spoke for the first time in many years. No. The death of Davoth, the Dark
Many
Lord,
years is
let
probably
out
like
a
3
wave of
billion.
energy into the sky. As it was decreed, every demon outside of Hell's borders were destroyed. Only those within the realm of Hell survived this mass purge, and now they could never leave the dimension they were created in. Finally, the life sphere of Davoth left his body and exploded. But then, the Doom...
Alright, now I wanna, like, I've been interested, but like this, the DLC left on a massive cliffhanger, and I wanna see how this shit end, like what happened after, like, explain this ending for me, please.
Doomslayer felt weak, and he fell unconscious. The Doomslayer's power had been created from an extract of Davoth's essence in the Divinity Machine. He was connected to the Dark Lord. His power was Davoth's power. Davoth had created the Doomslayer, and by his hand, he had destroyed what he had created. Unable to protect himself, in this rare, weakened state, the Doom Guy was placed into another sarcophagus by the Seraph that had watched over him in the World Spear. The marking of his and Davoth's symbol was infused on the sarcophagus and was left in the Tomb of Souls. The Doomslayer had become another deity trapped in the Tomb of Souls alongside the Father's failed experiments. As the Seraph left him, they hoped that the blood on his sword never dried and that they would never need him again. The Doomslayer had fought through several versions of Earth across time to stop the demonic forces of Hell, only to have been sealed away after aeons of fighting. The death of his rabbit Daisy and a family he may have had literally left him, even now, too angry to die. As for Urdak, once again free from demonkind, the few Maker that remained were, for the first time in their history, without a leader, a position that the Father, even in his limited form, could take over. Earth would rebuild, and so would Argent D'Nur. As for Hell, no demon could leave this realm, and it once again became the place bad people went when they died. The entire Doom series is made up of so many different types of media. This timeline focused mostly on the games, but I cannot end it without at least mentioning what else was created. Prior to writing this timeline, I had only watched the first Doom movie. It was an experience.
Oh hell no.
For
the Doom movie,
I
bro.
thought that maybe the sequel would be better or would add anything of note to this timeline. None of them did. The 2005 Doom movie is basically a Resident Evil film with the Doom name. The only similarity between the movie and the game is that the UAC exists and they have a base on Mars. Doom Annihilation is the second movie and it came out in 2019. It is a reboot. This one is more faithful to the game series. It appears to be a blend of the stories of Doom 1 and Doom 3. Betruger is the villain, and he leads the charge in the exploration of teleportation technology. The UAC find ancient gates, but they lead to hell. It also ends on a cliffhanger, so maybe there is another movie.
Dude, where the fuck?
I haven't gone into depth with these because
Chat, I
they
might
add
be cooked. I don't know where the
nothing at
fuck
all
my
to
shit
the
is.
timeline. Now that is over, the Doom World comic is absolutely worth a read. Distributed in May of 1996, it follows the events of the Phobos disaster.
Oh
with more
shit,
of a
chat,
comical
might be
twist
cooked.
as the Marine massacres a ton of demons. There have also been 2 lots of novels. The first came out in 1995 and 1996.
What about
Knee
over
Deep
here?
in the Dead,
I think
Hell
this
on
is where.
Earth, Infernal
Yep,
Sky, and
W.
Endgame. They follow a space marine called Flynn Taggart, and he has a very similar story to our Doom guy. A lot of fans have wanted to call the Doom guy from Doom Flynn Taggart, but the developers have actively gone out of their way
boom.
to keep him nameless, a way for the player to put themselves in his
Yeah,
position
self-insert.
for
I'm a self-insert, chat.
Finally, Doom 3 had 2 novels and a third was cancelled, Worlds on Fire and Maelstrom. This follows Private Kane and his journey through a demonic infestation of Mars City. I may explore these deeper in the future, and I did take parts from the Doom 3 novels to expand the background of that
Look at that
section,
shit.
but I did want to focus only on the games in this timeline.
Alright, let's get out of here, bro. I think it's time.
This is the hardest video I have ever made.
Hey,
but
bro.
It seems to have
I
come
will never
together
make a video
pretty
like
well.
this, bro.
This is the most complicated timeline in any game series I have ever played. And there is so much information that contradicts other pieces of information.
Oh shit, I don't want to fall
I
and
know
die.
that there will be some that will disagree with my order of events.
Nah,
but
it's pretty,
that is
pretty,
okay. I have done my
whatchamacallit.
best to put the games and
Pretty
events
peak.
into the best order.
Like, it makes sense.
The issue I have is the community is kind of split on which games are connected to which timeline.
Alright, where
With
was that
hours
shit?
and hours of research, it just made the most sense for Doom 3, its expansions and the RPGs to be its own thing, but still takes place in the Doom multiverse.
Where the hell was that
Some
shit?
also believe Doom 3 to be a prequel to Doom 1. I disagree with that.
Bro, where
This
the heck
video
am I?
is so long already, so maybe in the future I can do a more detailed video about why Doom 3 just would not work as a prequel. I wanted
wait.
this timeline to be as canon as possible, so I have not included games that I wanted to. There was Doom Resurrection,
see.
which is classed as Lost Media. Its storyline was reused for the
Fast-
Doom 3 DLC
nah.
Lost Mission.
Let
There's
me
also
see.
Sigil and Sigil 2.
Yeah, let
I
me
wanted
try- I'm
to
gonna try
include
that.
them, but ultimately
Where the hell-
they're not a
Yo,
part of the
Sigil.
official Doom.
What's Sigil? What the hell, bro?
Now, at Olivia Pierce's desk, we see the mention of a 45th parallel. We know that there are alternate Earths, and with at least 45
Oh,
different
it's up
ways
there.
the story could have gone. Maybe Sigil and the many other amazing mods created for the
Yeah,
Doom
look.
series are canon in the multiverse. Quake Arena and Quake
Let's go
Champions
there.
also made use of this multiverse in which they pitted the Doomslayer against other heroes and villains of other series such as Quake and Wolfenstein. Sadly,
Yo,
in
with
the multiverse,
Wolfenstein, that's
those
tough.
awful Doom movies fit in there somewhere too. The Doom series is still very much alive, and with some luck, we may receive a new Doom game at some point.
Yo,
there are a ton
W.
of questions to be answered. Who were the Seraph that locked the Doomslayer away?
That's what I'm
Were they under the
saying.
Orders of the Father, or a god that existed before Davos?
That's what
Where
I'm
did the
saying,
Wraith come
chat.
From, and did Daisy the Rabbit suffer? These were just a few of my questions, and this video could go on forever with theories, speculation, and questions. If you have made it this far, thank you so much for watching.
Nah, bro,
I do
thank you, bro.
appreciate it. This was
I'ma glaze
a
you
long
real quick.
project. I think that was everything I wanted to say. Please share it, please like it.
Yep,
Subscribe
yep.
if you are interested in deeper dives into specific topics, which I also
I'ma let this
cover
shit
on
play
the
out, bro.
channel. And finally, I'd
I'm
like to
letting
thank
him
my
plug
gold
himself on my
tier
channel.
patrons and channel members. Jonas, Lewis, Queen
Hey,
Arby,
everybody
Floppy
getting-
the Dragon, Chicken Guy 791, Ruben
Everybody's getting
Mendoza,
shout out,
Duke,
bruh.
Toadnut, Oren X, Azu, Karatana, AJ,
Yep.
Verona, Comfy,
Yep.
UG
Comfy.
Games,
I hope he's
Apravis,
comfy.
Arnis,
Or
Blaze of
they're
Glory,
comfy. I don't know
Cole
what.
Sherman, Yauli Rodriguez. I hope I said that right. And
Yeah, I think you
Navar.
said that
If
right.
you want to help support the channel, then there is a link in the description to become
Everybody
a
go
patron
support his
where I
channel,
do
bro.
my best to put
Support his
behind the
channel,
scenes
I'ma fucking
content,
block
early
you.
access to videos, and many other great features. And as always, thank you so much for the continued support. What did you think of this timeline? What is your favorite?
This shit's
game in the
crazy.
series? And
So
which
Doom-
game would you like me to cover in my next timeline? Let me know in the comments below. This is where our story ends. Check back next week for a new one.
W, man. Yeah, so apparently Doom Guy. Wait, collection of terrible fates. Hey, fuck it. Let's watch this
In
shit
his
too.
research, Dr. Morrison identified a
Oh,
paradox.
this shit was 4 days ago. Nah.
The Doom universe
Yo.
is a relentless abyss of
I'm liking the video.
unimaginable torment across Earth.
Okay. So yeah, apparently from his recollection, or like, you know what I'm saying, the Doom Guy is not even from his universe. That's crazy. But yeah, let's keep going, chat.
The earthly realms.
Bro, hopefully I get
Countless
so much
souls
XP, bro,
endured
cause,
the most
like,
grotesque and
let's go.
twisted fates.
I mean,
While
let's go.
suffering in hell itself was already deemed an unspeakable horror. It was merely the beginning. There were so many more. In this universe of demons, marauders, lakes of fire, and guts, just one
Look at all this
misstep
XP.
led to a world of pain. Anything was possible, and anyone could end up as a victim in this selection of awful existences. What was the worst fate? What made one experience worse than another? And would you rank these in the same order I have? Here, we explore them in this collection of terrible fates. Doom Edition. As I have covered with other game universes, a terrible fate is a terrible fate, but what makes one worse than another? For some, isolation is the worst thing someone could experience, whereas another person could be affected more by psychological torment than physical. We all have our own fears and perception of the world around us. As this collection dives deeper, the fates will get worse. This is my interpretation and understanding of the worst possible things that would happen to someone in this chaotic universe, in order of severity. We begin with how the
I wonder,
initial
what is
zombies
this?
came to be in Doom 3 and how that would have been for the victims. When the Union Aerospace Corporation discovered the ancient slipgate technology the Martians had once used, Dr. Malcolm Betruger led his team in Delta Labs to reinvent it. Over time, the slipgate technology was constructed and they discovered another dimension, and Betruger and his second-in-command, Ian McCormick,
Hold on,
wanted to
no.
explore it. Betruger called out for volunteers to stress test.
Sorry, I'm not gonna do Doom 3. Sorry.
The Night Sentinel
Sorry,
were
chap.
the leading army of their homeworld, Argent de Neur, but they met an absolutely
see.
tragic end.
I can't even use
At
that
the
now.
height of their war against Hell, these warriors discovered that their gods, the Maker, had betrayed them and essentially used them as fodder for a war they did not want to end. The Night Sentinel had sworn an oath to protect their world, the old gods and their people, and they were all willing to give their lives to achieve this. And upon the reveal of the betrayal of the Maker, a civil war erupted between those loyal to
Alright.
the Night Sentinel and those
Let's see,
loyal
let's
to
keep
the
going.
Maker.
Whoa.
In a desperate move, the Sentinel came up with a plan to reawaken
Chat.
the old gods to help them, and to destroy the Hell Factory of Necrovol, but they chose to trust the wrong.
Are we gonna fight a warden? Am I gonna fight a
Argenta
warden?
Priests were loyal to the Maker and their schemes, but they feigned loyalty to the Night Sentinel and offered them a portal to Hell so that the warriors could take down the factory. However, when what was left of this army entered the Twisted Realm, they found they had been betrayed. Each one of these soldiers was loyal to their world and their old gods, the Wraith, and as they each landed in Hell, they found themselves surrounded by demons, scattered miles away from each other, left to be devoured. This fate obviously has a physical harm aspect to it. They would have not simply been killed, they would have been tortured and tormented. The darker aspect of this is the psychological part. Each warrior was desperate to save their world, and they would have done anything to do it. As they fought for their lives in hell, they would have known that without their presence on Argent D'Nur, the Maker and Hell had full access to their world without protection. The smarter among them would have also realized that they had been tricked and betrayed by those they had trusted. Their hope crushed, future gone, and trust broken. What makes this even worse is that when they were killed, they knew what would happen to their souls. Tormented to the point of madness, transformed into energy, and used to continue the war they wanted to end. I cannot make a Fate video without mentioning Daisy. Daisy the rabbit was
Come
the
on.
Doom guy's pet. When he
Why do you
finally
say
made
that
it home
shit?
after Hell's invasion, he discovered
No, wait,
her,
chat.
the
Let me tell you a tragic death or a tragic fate or some shit, bro. That like when I watched it, like I actually like teared up here. I'm gonna give you guys some gameplay, some commentary gameplay. So I'm not gonna spoil you guys. But I will spoil you guys a little bit. From this anime called Devilman Crybaby. I think it's on Netflix still. Go and watch it, bro. It's actually pretty peak, in my opinion. I'm gonna spoil you guys a little bit. All right, it's when the girl, she's on Earth, bro, and she dies, bro. Like I thought she was gonna be free until. Or like I thought she wasn't gonna die until I think it was like a pitchfork or something stabbed her from the back or some shit. And then, dude, this gives me fucking chills. And then the next time we see her, her head is on a pike or some shit, bro. And I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm fucking traumatized, bro. Like that story isn't like lovey-dovey type shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was cooked, bro. Like all hope was lost. Like when I saw her fucking die, I was like, no, what the fuck? That's a tragic. I can't say all of it because I don't remember, and you know what I'm saying, spoilers. But yeah, bro, I was just like, fuck, dude. So right now I'm gonna get some armor so I can fight the warden, bro, because I can't fight him just like this. But yeah, that's a real tragic story.
decapitated with her head skewered on a spike.
Damn.
Daisy is in
What
need
the
of
fuck?
humanity, but it is important to recognize
That's literally what I
she
said.
represented. The death of his rabbit symbolized the loss of innocence and humanity. It is why he is the way he is, a being of unrelenting rage, and he carried her foot with him on his crusade against hell. I am personally more of an animal person than a people person, so when animals are hurt in games, I tend to be more affected by that. Throughout his journey, he even had visions of her, a constant reminder of what he had lost. What is
Damn,
worse
schizophrenia.
than losing a pet in such a horrendous way, knowing they have been tortured like that? Dr. Olivia Pierce has always been one of my favorite Doom characters.
Why? 'Cause she's
she
British?
Is arguably also one of the most tragic. She was an incredibly bright mind. When Olivia was offered a job by her former mentor, Dr. Samuel Hayden, on Mars to study ancient artifacts, she accepted. These artifacts had been procured from Hell, but she did not anticipate just how much her study of them would change her. Over her time on Mars,
What the
Olivia
hell?
worked very closely
Cannot
with the
block?
Helix
How do you
Stone
block?
and other artifacts. Unfortunately, as a result of her close
do
proximity
you block?
and
Hold on.
exposure to whatever energies and dark powers radiated from these, her body changed and she was later diagnosed with idiopathic scoliosis. In essence, her
How do you
spine had
block? What the
curved,
fuck?
leaving her in a state of constant
Oh, well, I guess it
discomfort
is what
and
it is.
mild pain.
All right, you know
In
what?
more severe cases,
No, actually,
the
no, I'm gonna
curvature
keep-
could also have compressed her lungs, making it difficult to breathe. Because of this, Olivia was left wheelchair-bound. Now, this is something she could have still dealt with and worked through with the correct pain medication. But when she was offered an experimental procedure to, in a way, correct it, she accepted
Bro,
it.
I don't think I can.
The operation itself involved grafting a titanium exoskeleton onto her body to replace her damaged spinal function. To achieve this, surgeons would have had to cut through muscle, tissue, and even bone. This was an invasive procedure fraught with risks. Given that the spine is densely packed with nerves, any surgical intervention carried
Yeah,
the
oh,
potential
hell
for
no,
severe
bro.
nerve pain and
Alright, fuck it. I'm gonna kill the warden with a
Furthermore,
sword.
her body would have
With a
almost
wooden
certainly
sword type
reacted to
shit.
the
See what
foreign
happens.
material, triggering inflammation as it struggled to adapt to the unnatural presence. The combination of surgical trauma and the body's
Oh, what the hell?
natural
He died or
rejection
some shit?
response would have made the initial
Hey, Pete.
stages of recovery agonizing.
Wait, no,
both
no.
physically and mentally.
What is this?
The procedure was a success, but Dr. Pierce
Oh,
was
shoot.
left in immense pain. Because Olivia was so dedicated to her work, she refused to take painkillers as she believed they would cloud her mind. As she walked, she would have felt the exoskeleton force her spine into what it believed was unnatural positions and fought against it with pain. Sure, it was her choice to get the surgery and refuse pain medication, but it was the Dark Lords of Hell who used her strength and perseverance against her. In her weakened and pain-ridden state,
Alright.
Olivia was offered a cure for her terminal illness and power if she agreed to work with them. After several failures on her part during the invasion that she had triggered, her soul was forcibly merged with an ancient demon, the Spider Mastermind, and then put out of her misery by the Doomslayer. Olivia was a villain, but she was also a victim of circumstance. Someone who was broken down physically by her interaction with a Hell artifact and manipulated with promises only to realize she was just a pawn. I felt bad for Olivia, and just the thought of that exoskeleton surgery makes me feel
Yeah,
awful.
blood and just fucking
Whenever I look
chopping
at
her.
the worst things that have happened to a human in
Alright,
a video
let's
game
go.
series, I will always compare them to two of the worst fates, those being turned into a stalker from the Half-Life series and Stroggification from Quake.
What
Both
the
are
hell?
barbaric acts of genuine evil. The creation of a Revenant in Doom 2016 is absolutely a contender here. Within Lazarus Labs in the Advanced
Door.
Research Complex of the UAC facility, Dr. Olivia Pierce expected her staff
Whoa.
to partake in all rituals, sacrifices, and vivisection programs. As she had fallen under the thrall of the Dark Lords of Hell, she truly believed that this science would cleanse them. This area was also restricted to the highest security clearance. It was from here that Lazarus Labs called out for UAC military operatives to volunteer in the Revenant program. Unknown to them, Olivia wanted to create soldiers for Hell's army. When the volunteer entered the operating room, they were strapped down and the program began. While awake and fully aware of their surroundings, multiple rocket launch batteries were attached to their shoulders, and an Argent-charged neurobiochip was implanted at the base of their cerebral cortex so that they could control them with
You see.
thought. This would have been excruciating,
Words off the
but this
competition.
was only the start. Dr. Pierce and her team had discovered that the plasmatic isotopes that composed a Lazarus wave of hell energy had a disturbing effect on osine proteins, the structural components responsible for giving bones their tensile strength and flexibility. In essence, these proteins determined how much stress the bones could withstand and how far they could be stretched or pulled without breaking. Blasted with Lazarus waves, the team watched as each subject's bones rapidly expanded. Their flesh tore through their bones, connective tissues ripped apart, and internal
nah, that one's kinda
organs
annoying.
began
Let's
to
do whatever this does.
decompose. The hell energy kept them alive and awake throughout this
Chickens,
entire
nah, I'm gonna
ordeal.
go you.
After several weeks of
Should I do
intense pain,
cows?
the skeletal growth finally stopped, and on average resulted in a 3-meter or
Yeah, bro, look at that shit, man.
warrior composed of mostly bone. This was
Hell no.
the creation of a revenant. Imagine being awake,
Blazes.
fully conscious, strapped down as your bones begin to crack
Ah,
and
fuck it.
shift. A deep, agonizing pressure builds from within, and suddenly, your skeleton wrenches itself outwards, splintering through muscle and skin with sickening pops and tears. You feel your bones stretch and twist, forcing their way through your flesh, rupturing tendons and ligaments like shredded paper. Then comes the skull. The relentless pressure as bone pushes outwards, distorting your face as the skin splits and peels away,
hell no.
exposing raw, glistening bone.
Raw,
Your jaw
glistening.
dislocates, your cheekbones rupture, and
Bro,
your
at that
own
point, bro,
features tear apart,
are you even
leaving
conscious, bro? Because I'd
nothing
pass out,
human
like, or like, you know what I'm saying? Or
behind.
I would
Through
be
it
dead
all,
type shit.
You remain alive, conscious, forced to endure every
conscious.
unbearable second as your own body
No,
betrays
sir.
you, twisting into a monstrous
Conscious, really.
abomination. This was not just pain. This
Bro,
was
why's my shit
pure,
lagging so much?
unrelenting agony.
Why is my shit lagging
As
so
we
much,
delve
bro?
deeper into the
Chill
darkest
out.
parts of this collection, we arrive at a fate rooted in hell itself. During the period when souls were sent to Necrovol,
Stop glitching my
they
shit.
were brought before Calibus, the sightless judge, an ancient demon who determined whether a soul was worthy of being processed into Argent energy. If not, well, they had a whole other fate. But if they were
Bro, stop cooking my
selected, they were
shit,
put
chat.
through the Necrovol Soul Factory. At first, the condemned were directed deeper
Bro,
into
what
the
the
Black
fuck?
Fortress, where they entered the Soul Spires.
Y'all are cooking my
Here,
shit.
The demons used Maker technology to accelerate the torment process. Before the Maker had aligned themselves with Hell, the transformation of a mortal soul took countless years of unending torture. The soul had to reach
Yeah.
a breaking point.
I think,
completely shattered
Samuel
by
Hayden
pain
said
and
that.
despair before it became Hell Essence. The body then became a husk and wandered this unholy realm until it eventually transformed into a demon. Yet, the Maker technology changed everything. It made the process faster, more precise, and infinitely more brutal. The
Bro, this
souls
shit
were
is
systematically
cooked.
broken, hope stripped away, the will to live crushed until nothing remained but raw despair. When they finally reached their
Hell
most
no,
vulnerable
bro. My
state,
shit is
a
lagging. It
device
might
called
crash.
The Avulsor tore the shattered soul from its vessel, processed it, and converted it
Hold
into
up.
Hell Essence, just an ingredient to be used in the creation of Argent energy. Once their essence had been harvested, the bodies were thrown into the hellish wasteland to rot and mutate. Over time, these discarded remains twisted into demonic forms, echoes of the people they once were. The true horror lies in how systematic it all was. The mortal souls were nothing more than ingredients, carefully processed and prepared with calibrated tools to
Dude, this shit is
efficiently
lagging.
strip away their humanity, tortured and tormented not just for cruelty, but with purpose. A real-life
Oh my God.
slaughterhouse for mortal humans.
Bro,
Now,
what the
I
fuck? This shit is
mentioned
lagging my
what
shit.
happened if a soul was deemed worthy of the Soul Factory. But
Hold up.
what if it was not? Personally, this is so much worse than the last one. If a
Let
soul
me
was
see.
deemed unworthy, well, it was discarded into the burning sludge of the blood swamps. From what I could find, these souls were still conscious and just left there as a part of the ecosystem. Trapped in
surely.
sludge, burning for
Surely it shouldn't
eternity,
cook that much.
completely aware of their surroundings, unable to move. There would never be peace, no rescue, no hope, just this. This one is pretty intense because it has so many different
Oh, hell no,
factors.
bro. Why am I
It
here?
obviously is a physical form of torment, but I feel like the psychological aspect is
What?
slightly worse. This soul had just died, and before they could adjust to this new state of being, they were discarded like sewage into the swamp because they were deemed unworthy. It is dark. The reason I picked this fate as worse than being used as an ingredient for Argent energy is because at least the
Yeah, look at that
suffering
shit.
eventually stopped when the soul was extracted. With this one, we do not know if it ever does, just left there for eternity, as plants' life and structures are built over you. It is terrifying.
Blazes and shit, bro. I don't even have stone.
On
Oh, is
to
that
the
stone?
final and, in my opinion, the worst fate. fate. Over the course of Doom, the Doom guy had found himself in the middle of a
No, yeah, the Doom guys
and
is
fought across
the worst
moons
fate.
of Mars into the demonic realm itself. He battle-turned marines, demons, and titans. He went through so much, and in the back of his head, he would have thought about his wife and child. Every conflict would have been about getting back to them, and when he finally defeated the Spider Mastermind, the entity behind this assault, a doorway to Earth opened. In this moment,
Oh, I
as
see
the
the
Doom guy
diamond right
stepped
there.
through, he believed he had won. His actions had stopped Hell from invading his planet, but when he arrived, he found that an invasion had already begun. His wife, child, and rabbit had been slaughtered. Everything he had fought for had been for nothing. Nothing he had done had mattered. We will not get into what happened to their souls, as we are all sure they would have been pulled into hell and tormented for
Yeah,
eternity.
that's
But
tough.
imagine the psychological blow this would have had to him. Physical pain is one thing, but psychological is absolutely something else. The loss of hope, the loss of everything is probably the worst thing someone can lose, and to have fought for so long to return to his family only to find them dead, that is the
Tough.
worst fate.
Yeah, being the Doom guy
The Doom
is the worst
universe
fate.
is pretty much
from
an
the
awful
Doom.
place to exist in, and this is absolutely one I would not like to live in. Even now, we only know of what we have seen. We do not know just how terrible other worlds are or other parts of hell. Each fate and how they are perceived depends on how you view psychological or physical blows. In the end, personally, the loss of innocence and hope far exceeds anything physical. Having looked at the fates in Half-Life and Portal, I will say that some of those were pretty tame in comparison to these, and just maybe in a few months, in Doom the Dark
Yeah,
Ages,
okay,
we
W.
will get to see more of what happened to the poor, unfortunate souls of this.
Yeah, I haven't seen too much shit of Doom. I mean, Doom the Dark Age.
What I really love about the Doom series is just how dark it gets. Sure, a lot of it is overlooked in the background of constant chaos and conflict, but there is so much torment, so much darkness in the regions we explore as the Doomslayer. There were a ton of fates I wanted to include, but I did not have space, so I may make a second video. I also attempted to balance these out with psychological and physical torment. It is a great debate on what is really worse for you out of the two. Everything is
Bro, everything.
subjective. What is worse
I want to
you
be
and
in
tamed you?
in anything.
With Doom the Dark Ages coming out soon, I am so excited to re-explore the universe and see what nuggets of lore its software adds. We know we're going to return to the lost city of Hebeth and see what really happened.
Ooh,
It would
we're
also
coming
be
back to
fantastic
Hebeth.
see
You
if there
spoiled
are
me.
Any references to Doom 3 and fill in more of a period between Doom 64 The Lost Levels and Doom Eternal, when the Doom guy arrives on
Twin
Guardian
spoiled me,
Vanilla.
bro.
I'm still trying to figure out when the Dark Ages will begin its story. There is so much to come and I cannot
Boy,
wait.
come.
That was everything I wanted
What are
to
you
say.
talking about?
If you enjoyed this video, then I would love you to subscribe to the channel, like the video if you
Bro, they
liked
got
it,
water
dislike
and
it if
shit,
you did
bro,
not,
like-
and let me know what you thought in the comments section below. Finally, I would like to thank my gold tier patrons and channel members: Queen Arby, Lewis or an X, Drakey Phoenix, Daniel Cal Drawings, 501st Clone Boy, Ruben Mendoza, Imperial
Oh,
Empress,
no!
Anafex, Jim Z,
No!
Patrick Soul, Azu, Jonas, Yellow Rodriguez, and Detroit. What did you think of this topic? What truly is the worst fate? And what would you
The
like
worst-
to
the-
come next?
Chat.
Let me know in the comments.
You want me to tell you the worst fate ever is to fucking live, bro. That's the worst fate ever. Yeah. Oh my. I told you, bro. I told you it's the worst fate, bro. I told you, bro. I told you, bro. I told you. Okay. All right, now let's suit up. Boom, boom, boom. So I don't think I can get that diamond anymore because I just used... Oh, no way, I can. What the fuck? Alright, I'm getting out of here. Peace. Fuck that diamond. Alright. Let me see. If I can't find any more Doom videos, then I guess that's the end of the stream, chat. Let me see. Over 4 hours of Doom lore. Hell nah. Nexpo uploaded a new video 7 days ago. Hell nah. But shout out to you though. I guess that's it, chat. Let me see. Damn, bro. Bro, I wish I could, yeah, bro. I wish I could be like one of these like commentary like YouTubers, like, you know what I'm saying? Oh my, bro, how are you still fucking me? Whoa, what the fuck? But nah, I mean, I do commentate, bro, but I like playing the games, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to show off. Not my skills, because I don't have any, but like, you know what I'm saying? My journey, the adventure type shit. Let me see. I don't know, bro. Should I keep? I don't know what to stream about. Let me see. Yeah, Doom Lord. Let me see. Hold up. And if not, yeah, the father, bro. It's the It's the same guy again, bro. Sky Ronin. I think that's how you say it. Bro, this is what I'm fucking, oh my god, bro.
There is
I'm gonna stay up all night
that
fucking.
Almost everybody
Oh, chat,
on
run away.
planet Earth knows. The story of creation. This tale has influenced so many actions in our world. However, in the Doom timeline, this story was much more devious, manipulative, and led to many catastrophic
bro. Yep, I'm cooked.
wars across
Oh, I can double jump.
dimensions.
That's pretty cool.
In this twisted story of gods and demons, there was once the heavenly realm of Urdak and the bountiful realm of Jakad. Each one, at first, had the best intention to make the entire cosmos a better place. But when gods clash, and even new ones are born, there will be blood,
but I don't think this shit even
guts,
works.
and gore. Ultimately, one person was responsible for all of this chaos, but despite their pure intentions, were they the villain all along? Where did the ruler of the heavenly realm of Urdak actually come from? What role did he play in the war with the hellish realm of Jakad? And how does his story end? Here we explore in the lore and story behind a being of many names, God, Vega, and among the angels of Urdak and population of Argent Vener, the Father.
Bro, what the fuck?
In the beginning, there was only an endless void, and one entity alone wandered it. This was
Oh
the
my
first
fucking
god, deity, primeval being known in existence. Davoth had incredible power, and where he lingered, entire realities bloomed. When he stopped to rest, the realm of Jakad, the first realm, appeared and grew around him. In this dimension, Davoth created the first denizens with burning ambition without restraint. They were created for greatness, and just as he had hoped, over time, the stunning, bountiful realm of Jakad allowed this population to form into a grand civilization. In this paradise, the people aspired for greatness. They, however, soon encountered a problem. While they had created the perfect land and way to live, they discovered that their mortal bodies could not sustain their undying souls. As they aged, they died.
Alright, I'm leaving.
By one. Mortality was viewed as a curse by Davoth. His people were pure, and despite his unimaginable
Come on, you can make
power,
this jump.
even
W.
he could
Ooh,
not
there's a.
save
Oh
them
my
from
god! Why
death.
does it always have to be a
Davoth
fucking
hated
skeleton?
this to save his creation and to stop himself from eventually ending up alone. He ordered the population to seek out a cure for this curse at any cost. Alongside this, he created another realm with a new species designed to aid in this task.
Bro,
Within
how
the
can I
heavenly
dip?
realm of Urdak, the Maker species work together with their hive minds in unison like a machine to understand the laws, physics, and very nature of how their dimension and other created dimensions functioned. With this knowledge, they leapt up the technological ladder and invented incredible machinery and techniques to help them in their task. As time passed, Davoth became cruel and angry without this cure and punished those who did not participate in this search. In Urdak, the Maker became extremely powerful, aided by new technology and weaponry. They also cared for the mortal creatures of the realms and watched over Davoth as he fell even further from the god he had once been. They eventually did discover the secrets of immortality, but at this point, deemed the information too dangerous to share with their now.
Don't cook me, don't cook me, don't cook me, don't cook me, don't cook me. Don't cook me, don't cook me, don't cook me, don't cook me.
All existence, and they had to act to stop him to save everything. Using everything they had learned and developed, the Maker struck Jakad and formed a seal around it. This seal trapped all inside, even Davoth, and kept the mortal world safe from his vengeance. This betrayal infuriated Davoth, and from him, the Pleasure Lake spoiled into the blood swamps. The lakes, rivers, and oceans turned to fire, and the denizens of this land twisted and mutated into demonic entities. As for Davoth, he transformed into the Dark Lord and swore vengeance on everyone and everything. The Maker watched as Jakad turned to darkness and became the demonic realm of hell, but the rest of the earthly dimensions were safe, or so they thought.
Dimensions, like, what are we talking about here? That's why I'm confused.
With all of his fury until cracks formed. With these, he was able to send through armies of demonic legions into the earthly realms to destroy everything they could. From Urdak, the Maker once again decided that they had to act, and this time entered Jakad to stop him completely. Towards the end of this devastating war between angels and demons, Davoth found himself on the top of the Pyramid of the Lost against the most resilient of the Maker species. In this moment, one of them used their advanced technology to rip out the Dark Lord's life sphere, and as a result, Davoth's lifeless body fell to the bottom of the pyramid as the Maker claimed victory. This sphere contained the memories, intelligence, will, and the essential nature of Davoth's consciousness, and now it was held in the hands of the hero of this war. This action not only won the war, but it also had another effect. From the sphere, the Maker absorbed Davoth's power and became something new, a god with abilities just as powerful as Davoth, and in this moment, this Maker ascended into the divine being now known as the Father.
Okay.
Davoth still lived in this form in the sphere, and the Father had to make a choice: destroy the Dark Lord or allow him to live in this prison. He could have easily destroyed his creator, a threat to life itself, but the Father could not bring himself to do so. Instead, he placed the Dark Lord's life sphere within the Temple of Souls within Ingmor's sanctum, a piece of Urdak that seemed to have fallen to hell. To stop the demons of hell from acquiring this sphere, he recreated the seal around the realm. This time, it not only stopped all demons from setting foot in Urdak,
oh, you know what?
It also stopped all of Urdak's creations from entering hell too. The Father had stolen the power of his creator and ascended for the safety of every dimension and creation in existence, and as a new god, the entire Maker species worshipped him. Alone in the Temple of Souls, the Dark Lord waited and plotted his revenge for aeons to come.
Let me see.
Within Urdak, the Father helped the Maker recover from the devastating war. With his power, he explored everything Davoth had created and continued with the work of his predecessor. Here, he formed an untold number of new worlds and dimensions, and each one of these became home to countless new species and civilizations. He was good and became the god and leader the Maker species had originally wanted. He was also aware that the Maker were not immortal, and towards the end of their naturally long lives, they went through a process referred to as the Transfiguration, a painful experience in which they experienced both biological and mental degradation. However, their technology and the very essence of the Father allowed them to bypass this
and turn into the drones, turn into the robots.
As the Father continued his work and created new life, the Maker watched over these new, early species and deemed it their duty to help them as angels of the Creator of all.
How do you make
After they introduced themselves,
campfires?
They offered their undying souls a place in Urdak after their mortal bodies had moved on in return for their worship. When the Maker explained the story of creation, they made a few changes. In their version, the Father was the first god in existence. In this tale, he created Urdak first along with this angelic Maker species, and then he created Jakad with a primeval being to watch over it and the population within. As the Father's first god, Davoth cared deeply for the great minds of this paradise as they created a grand civilization, culture, and achieved great marvels. Davoth was once again proud of his denizens, but he was plagued by their deaths as age took them. They were mortal, and although he was a god, he could not save them from the curse of death. The Father watched from his realm as Davoth grew mad in his quest for everlasting life, and feared for the lives of the population of Jakad, as well as for the rest of life in his other realms. He foresaw that Davoth would someday rise to challenge him in his madness, and so he sealed Jakad away from all of the other realms and dimensions. In his rage and betrayal from his creator, Davoth bent all of Jakad to his will, and his rage consumed the entire land and population around him. This was the creation of hell, demons, and the rise of the Dark Lord. The Father deemed Jakad and the creation of a population without pain.
Okay, now I know the realm. Is it realms or universe or planets? I don't know. I'm fucking... Okay, I think... Okay, so this is my thought process. The Night Sentinels and the humans, right? They might be like humanoid, like different, whatever. They're in the same, let's say, realm universe, right? Then you have Urdak, which is in a different universe, different realm. And Jakara, is that how you say it? That's in a different universe. Or a different realm. Or a different dimension. You know what I'm saying?
Pain, restraint, and generally misfortune a mistake, and as a result, his newest creations were given these mortal pains and misfortunes in order to make them appreciate life, empathy, and peace. Davoth, of course, fought against the seal and broke through into the Father's newly created realms. In response to this, he re-entered Hell for the final time and ripped Davoth's life sphere from his chest in order to keep life itself safe. This adapted story painted the Father in a more favorable light to those who worshipped him. And over many years, with the help of the Maker, they did. The truth was wiped from history, and only few would ever discover the true story. For untold aeons, the Father served as a guiding light for the Maker species as he continued to create new dimensions for new life to thrive. Not only did he plant the seed for new, early civilizations, but he also created new primeval beings to watch over the realms. Although he had put a lot of work into his creations, he soon grew frustrated when some of these creations acted in ways that he did not approve of. Hell was the first realm ever created, and as a result of this, it was connected to every realm. From here, Davoth, although in the form of a life sphere, still had some power and sought out those susceptible to corruption. For those weak enough, he whispered dark truths and manipulations in order to push them to act against
Like the con
Father
maker?
and his creations.
Holy shit.
These actions were not lost on the Father.
Get the hell away from me.
He could not stop Davos from these tactics, but he could rectify these divine errors that fell to Davos' birth.
Oh, I knew it.
So he transformed
Chat, it's the
corrupted
end.
gods into
I
light
fucking knew
and
it.
placed them in the Temple of Souls, and over time, these errors became more frequent. On top of this, without a Dark Lord
Damn
to guide
it.
hell, the Twisted Dimension fell further into discordance. Due to this, the Father decided he would withdraw from the physical realm to prevent the chance that Hell or even Davos would absorb his power. These entities grew stronger with
try
each
that.
day as they formed new leaders. More beings were corrupted, and the boundaries of Hell were challenged constantly. To complete this task, the Father asked his most loyal servant, Sama Maker, to transform him into a life sphere, and after this, he placed the Father inside of the Luminarium, a holy temple within Urdak, a place designed to house and resurrect life spheres. For many, many ages, the Maker came to the Luminarium to worship the Father's sphere as Sama Maker watched over him. And without the Father to truly guide the Maker species, more responsibility fell
You know what? Yeah,
onto
let's
the Khan
do this.
Maker, a being
no,
birthed
wait.
by the collective Maker consciousness. The Maker, of course, continued on their goal to educate every species about the Father to garner their worship, and on their travels through the earthly realms, they came across the planet of Argent Dunur. This species, the Argenta,
Okay, so the planet is Argent Dunur, right? And then the citizens are Argenta, or the place is called Argenta. Okay, so I'm right. Okay, Argent Dunur is the place that we were on that belonged to the Night Sentinels. Okay, see, I'm understanding.
already worshipped another
Whoa.
god, the elemental wraith species. They, however, also felt abandoned by them. Their calls for help for protection against natural disasters, disease, and bandit attacks were left unheard. In return for the worship from the Argenta, the Maker offered them knowledge of new technologies, a place for their souls in the heavenly realm of Urdak upon
No, don't
death,
push me.
and various other benefits that would help them survive. In their worship of the Father and knowledge of the tale of how he defeated the evil Dark Lord, they were likely less susceptible to the corruption and manipulations of Davos. The Argenta accepted this offer and they soon boomed. Their technology allowed them to not only advance and construct incredible cities, but it also allowed them to leave their planet and explore other worlds under the banner of the Maker. Across the universe, they spread the tale they had been told to bring the civilizations they encountered also under the worship of the Father. Over time, from his sphere, the Father continued to monitor the worlds he had created and feared the rising dangers in Hell. The entities within had grown much stronger and were close to breaking through the seal into the earthly realms. To protect himself and his
back
power
off
from
me, bro.
being taken, he called upon Sama Maker to take his sphere to a place that no one would find it. As a loyal servant, the Seraphim stole the Father's sphere and travelled to Ingmor's sanctum and placed him with the other life spheres. Only few could access this place, and if only Sama knew of his new location, it would be only Sama the Father would have to worry of falling to corruption. In this case, the Father was safe. Sama was completely devoted to his god without question. Eventually, the hordes of demonic entities broke through their prison seal and finally had access to the earthly dimensions. Upon traversal through one of these tears, they found themselves on Argent Dunur. This was the start of the Unholy Wars. The Khanmaker at first helped the Argentan's strongest army, the Knight Sentinel, in their fight against the never-ending waves of demons. However, she
Bro, what the
soon
hell?
heard the
This shit is
whispers
low-key
of
ass.
the Dark Lord. The father had disappeared long before, and without his essence, she had remained Khanmaker instead of the regular 10,000-year limit in which another Khanmaker was destined to be born. She also feared for her species. Without the essence of their god, they could not stop the awful transfiguration process that would soon plague them. The Dark Lord convinced her that someone would lead to her downfall, and to seek them out, she had to build a machine. As many died, the Khanmaker created this divinity machine.
Yeah, this shit is ass.
It with a shard of the Dark Lord to power it. When soldiers suspected of being her downfall were placed inside, the machine destroyed them. As the Black Star ascended to its zenith, a new wave of demons and a monstrous titan, the Dreadnought, attacked the holy city of Taras Nabad. Here, Sama heard the whispers of the Dark Lord. It told him to find the human outlander that had mysteriously arrived on Argent D'Nur just before this war had begun, place him into the divinity machine and reverse the polarity. Upon doing so, the Outlander, or Doomguy, absorbed the essence of the Dark Lord from his shard inside of the machine, and he became the Doomslayer. Sama only wanted to help those around him.
I think this is like just spewing. Okay, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna end it, bro. But you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna like that video too, cause that one's peak. I think it's just spewing the same shit. But yeah, I'm gonna end it there, man. Fuck Craftmine, bro. Fuck that shit. Fuck this shit. I'm done. I'm fucking done with this. Actually, chat, let me show you guys. Hold on, is my shit okay? Let me show you guys my actual Minecraft world. Like my hardcore world. Hold on, let me see. It's 1:33 a.m. bro. I gotta finish this before 3 a.m. because you know what I'm saying, the demons are gonna get me. Yeah. Let me show you guys my hardcore world. Alright. Can you guys see it? Okay, now you guys can see it. Oh, but you guys can still see my... Here, what if I do that? There we go. Okay, peek. Look at my world. So here's my worlds, right? I'm just gonna explain to you, I'm gonna explain to you. So first, I had peakness, right? I died. I was building like a tree, like a big ass tree, but I didn't die from the tree. Let me tell you guys, I died because I was in a mine shaft and there was this witch, right? She poisoned me, and then I blocked her, like, you know what I'm saying, so she couldn't poison me no more. Then I went back, like, retraced my steps, like I went backwards to avoid the witch. And I'm telling you, chat, 3 zombies out of nowhere gangbanged me, bro, and I died. So that's tough. This one, I don't know. I don't know. I think I just died from fall damage, or I got hit, or hunger, or some shit. This one, so yeah, it's called Peakness, Greatness, Goodness. Let's see. And I have a shader or texture pack on it. Hold on. You guys are probably like, what the hell, bro? This is too peak. But hold on, let me just fall. Let me just fall. Everybody close your eyes. Close your eyes, everybody. And after this, I'm gonna go to sleep, bro. Cause yeah, I'm fucking sleep, bro. No, I'm not asleep. What the fuck? I'm just tired. But that was a good video, man. That was a good video. I did learn a lot, bro. I did learn a lot. I'm excited for Doom the Dark Ages, though, bro. Alright. So, this is my world. So, first, like, look at this location. Look at this scenery, though, bro. This shit is crazy. And I'm going to build, like, a... So, my plan is, right, I'm going to build a big glass dome. and do shit with. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but that's my vision. Like I don't know why, but that's my vision. All right, right. So here I would get up here. Okay. Now this is gonna be my base, or at least for now, right? So I started building, and this is on hardcore. I don't know if yeah, you guys know it, right? And here's all my shits, smelting. Use my chest. You know, use bamboo. I mean, for like decorative design and for the scaffoldings. Here's my wheat farm. You know what I'm saying? I think it would look pretty cool if, you know what I'm saying, this whole entire section is covered in wheat type shit. Here I'm building this or I already built it, but like this massive staircase just because I haven't gone to the nether yet, because I want to do a water elevator which takes you up using, I think, soul sand, and down or whatever using a different block. I don't know what it's called, but yeah. So, and I still haven't finished with it. Like I still haven't finished it. I still need to add some touches, you know what I'm saying? Like probably some lanterns, probably some blocks like right here so I don't fucking fall off type shit. Let me keep going up. But yeah, this is like a chill little world, bro. Like I think tomorrow I'm gonna play this while watching One Piece, because I haven't watched One Piece in like fucking probably like a month, to be honest. So yeah, I know I'm cooked on that, and the anime is starting soon. Let me see. But yeah, and then this is gonna be my actual base of operations type shit. Oh, and by the way, let me see if I can show you guys in this fucking cloud. I might have to disable clouds, bro, because yeah, it's kind of annoying. Yeah, right there, like up here, up there. Actually, wait, let me see if I can show you guys. Hell no, I'm not taking no chances. Here, just hold on. Just a second. Oh my god. Hold on, chat. Alright, so you just jump right here, do a 360. Here's like my little kelp farm and stuff. Look, that's Nemo. What the fuck? W Nemo. Hold on, dude. Yeah, right now it's under construction. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm just fucking tired. Chat, if you made it this far, bro, I just want to say, bro, WU, bro. Thank you, bro. Just make sure to like and subscribe, bro, if you want to, bro. Cause this shit, I promise you, bro, like not a lot of people are gonna. I don't think a lot of people are gonna see this, bro. But if you do, fuck it, bro. W, man. Okay, let's see. Okay, hold up. So yeah, this is just my mind where I get like stone and shit. I plan to flatten down, and I don't know what to do with it. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. But let me see. Let me show you guys. Let me show you guys my vision. Okay. So I guess between right here, that's what I was thinking. Building like a map, like a gigantic map of my world. I know it's gonna be fucking gigantic, like my world is gonna be gigantic. I'm not gonna try to explore too much because I want for the new update shits, you need to not explore like all of your world so they can generate type shit. But yeah, that's where I'm planning to build it. Or maybe somewhere here. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, bro. That's it. That's my world. I'm fucking tired. It's 1:39 a.m. Right now I'm just gonna fucking brush my teeth and literally place my head on my pillow, and I will instantly pass out. So yeah, bro, that's gonna be the end of the video. Well, I keep saying bro. Yeah, it's gonna be the end of the video, chat. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. And yeah, see you guys in the next live stream, the next video. I'm planning to do also, I have a video coming out, right? That's Fortnite related, like it's Fortnite. But chat, look, let me tell you, I'm gonna tell you fucking my thoughts right now, bro. This is, you know what I'm saying, nobody's gonna see this, but like after recording Doom, I've literally, sorry chat, I literally hit a wall right now of creativity type shit. No, it's not that. It's just I don't know what to upload type shit. I want to upload. Okay, hold on. I need to get my thoughts straight. Right now I'm uploading a video, bro, but like, dude, this shit is hard, bro. This shit is fucking hard, at least for me, because I like, or maybe I'm not motivated enough, I don't know. But yeah, I'm uploading a video. I gotta do the thumbnail, I gotta record it, gotta edit it. Sorry, shit. After that Fortnite video, I think I'm gonna play Subnautica. You know, I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna delve deep. Try not get scared, bro. I like some, not like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, he's fucking scary. Like, imagine there's a spike, right? And like, you have to prick your finger or some shit. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying, bitch. Shit, I'm sorry, chat. But like, I like Subnautica, but it just, I don't like Subnautica. You know what I'm saying? It's scary. Like, I don't like to get pricked in the finger, but I need it for like a checkup. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what I meant. Sorry, chat. I'm not a fucking weirdo. But yeah, that's tough. And then after the Subnautica video, I don't know what I'm gonna upload, chat. Maybe BioShock, maybe Jedi: The Last Survivor, bro. But that shit's like $70, bro. I ain't even got $70. Obviously I do, bro, but like, I don't have that kind of money to waste and spend around, bro. So I don't know. Who really knows which way we go on this dark road type shit. Yeah, I need to think of some games. I do want to play Minecraft, like actually make a proper Minecraft series later on. I ain't gonna say, because you know what I'm saying, spoilers. But later on, what's in here? Nothing. But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of cooked right now. That's where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna keep going, bro. You think I'm gonna fucking give up? Fuck no. You know what I mean? Don't give up, chat. You gotta see this whole shit through. I love you guys. That's gonna be the end of the video, bro. Take care. The video. Stop saying a video, bro. This is not the fucking. This is a live stream type shit. Thank you guys for watching. Oh yeah, look at my character. Sniper King. Usopp's Fred. Three times is the charm. I yawned 3 times, so that means I gotta end the live stream, bro. I love y'all. You guys take care. Thank you for supporting me, bro. And see you guys in the next live stream. Peace.